And it's like, hi, I
Hell,
actually thought it's never going to happen at this point.
finally, the stars aligned, and
Then
we were allowed to
last
continue.
week was just a mess. I don't know what happened. And it was a mess on my side and on your side as well. Like simultaneously at the same time.
Like last weekend, I was going to like do the live stream and go visit a friend, and I don't know what else I was going to do like on Sunday,
Hmm.
and uh, the power went out first, and it
Hmm.
kept like going out in and out during
Hmm.
like the morning, and the internet was just like a mess, and like a few couple of hours later, my friend calls and she's like, "You know what? I have to like leave the city right away." So also canceled. It was just like, "Damn, okay." And
Sounds
then
very suspicious.
the her grandfather got sick. So
Oh.
she had to like rush out, and
Hmm.
I was like, "Okay, cool, no problem. You can call me
Hmm.
on Sunday if you're free." When you're back. And Sunday I couldn't go out, and then my friend calls me and she's like, "I feel oddly sick, so
Oh.
don't." And she's like, "I'm gonna get tested on Monday," and it was positive. So damn, all of it, Jesus. So a lot really happened that day.
You kind of saved yourself.
Yeah,
Weirdly.
yeah. My family and I
Hi,
always have
Diane.
this kind of weird luck that
Yeah.
you we think it's like, oh damn it, or our plans got canceled or anything, and it's just
Uh-huh.
like to avoid a major like disaster.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
It's
great.
it's the same as people that are late for planes and then the
Yeah,
plane crashes.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's been like cold for the last few days, and
Just tell me
surprise,
how cold it is so I could laugh at you.
you can laugh. No, we reached below zero, like -1. Uh,
Wow. It's
don't.
my it's -20 here, so
But you're prepared for that shit. However,
I
like we get like
I'm never
2 days
prepared
of
for that
cold.
shit.
We never get cold, but the heat, just like on Christmas Day, it was about 36, 37 degrees.
Hmm.
So hot. And now it's kind of cold, but my room, like the insulation for the my bedroom sucks. So when it's summer, my bedroom is an oven, and right now it's cold. So speaking of, I'm gonna disappear for a second to go get some socks because my feet are freezing and I forgot. Be right back.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just going to talk with Diane for a second. It's -4 in the morning in Spain. You all are complaining about nothing, like literally nothing. -4 is nothing. I literally have to go and buy some groceries sometimes, and I'm like, it's -20 and I hate it, and I don't know what to wear because nothing warms you up enough for this kind of weather. Some people
Yeah.
are like, oh, you can wear like uh two pairs of, I don't know, a pair of tights and some puffy, I don't know, pants and like two sweaters or something. And I'm even cold in like not fur, but like cow skin type of
Yeah.
jacket, which is supposed to be very, very
Warm.
warm. Yeah, it's not even. I don't think it's cow. I think it's goat. I think it's goat skin and goat fur, and it's supposed to be like people wear it in cold weather, and I'm still cold. In America, it was -5 one day, and I was so shocked at the snow. And my roommate was Russian, and she wouldn't stop laughing at me. You deserved it. You fully deserved it. Oh, honestly, every single day I complain about the weather, and I'm like, when spring is coming. I'm tired. It feels like winter is like overstaying its welcome. Like
Last
it's been 5 months or something.
you can sense some like cold over here, but still, every time it gets cold here, like last year, we had, and this was like a big thing. It was like
Hmm.
3 days or more. This is like 5 days where it was below zero, and that is completely new for here. So, I mean, last time I saw just like the tiniest bit of snow was on 2017, and the only time there was like enough snow to like even make a snowman this big was 2004. So,
I was staying with
uh,
my parents this weekend, and basically a lot happened during those few months. Um, my cat got sick again.
oh,
He had some growth in his mouth again, which is like they say that it's not dangerous because it's not cancer, but it's like
annoying
still
for the
inflamed
cat.
and annoying, yeah, and it's painful. So basically, we went for the surgery again, and this time I will just knock it because it's good. He literally feels so good after it. Last time we did it, he was okay, but it never went away. Like his gums were still inflamed and stuff. And now we're on some pills, and we're also going every 2 days for shots. And it seems like they're helping because he's very active. He's playing. He wasn't playing like uh, I mean, I didn't see him active, or I didn't see him biting anything for 2 years. So like he's biting my hand and stuff. So it's like a
How
real
old is he?
upgrade. What?
How old your cat? How old is he?
Oh, he's 12.
Oh,
So
baby.
he's elderly.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it really helps. So because we have to like carry him to the vet every 2 days, I stay more at my parents because I mean I kind of feel embarrassed asking my mom to carry him all the time because he's heavy and stuff, and also there's snow everywhere. And on Friday we uh we went to the vet after my job, so like in the evening, and we couldn't open the door because the snow was so high it blocked the door,
Damn.
and it was literally like, you know we were literally buried under the snow. Like it wasn't that high as in person height high, but it was around my knees. So we had to unbury ourselves first and clean the snow to go somewhere. So when I say that we have a lot of snow, I actually mean it. I need to send you some photos. I need to give you some culture shock, I feel like. Because you just don't get it.
Definitely. Like when we were kids, uh like schools would close completely if it like most private schools would close if it was 4 degrees. Four.
We only
No need,
close when it's
no,
minus
no need,
40, so you
no
know.
need for snow or anything. It was just like it's cold. It's like 2 degrees, 3 degrees. Oh, the kids can stay at home.
Like uh every single school is closing officially here when it's minus 28, I think, or minus 30, something like that. And it sometimes happens in Moscow, even though we're not like the coldest city in Russia. But it constantly happens in Siberia. So people are like at home for weeks because it's minus 30 and lower, actually. So
Like, and in this case, like the thing we get the most is like heat, and there is no, like, it doesn't matter how hot it is, even if the schools, some of the public schools don't have like air conditioner or anything, so it doesn't matter how hot it gets, we still have to go to school. So
The hot factor isn't working. You have
it's
to prepare for that.
I was like one of my schools had a classroom that had like a it's not like it's a metal roof. It was just like that specific classroom. It was I think like for science we never did absolutely anything related to science there, but it was like supposedly like a lab, and it had like a steel roof.
Hmm.
Steel roof
With sunlight.
with
I
summer
get it.
heat. And that summer we were around like 40. So it
Hmm.
was, we were gently roasting inside. And can you imagine?
The
It's
smells.
okay. The heat, exactly. Like we can handle the heat. Imagine the smell of like 20, 13-year-old boys in a closed space.
At plus 30, I think the girls were also the culprit.
Yeah, but like at that age, most of the girls were actually like wearing excessive like deodorant and
Perfume.
perfume and everything.
Sometimes
But
it's worse with
sometimes it's worse,
perfume.
yes. But the boys would like some of them would still refuse to wear deodorant. So sometimes the smell was so bad that the teacher had to like open it, or just like, you know what, class, we're just going to head outside. And like, what do you prefer, fresh air and the heat, or the heat and the stench? So
I mean,
fond memories of school.
it's usually better outside anyway at this kind of weather
Yeah.
because it's, you know, a bit
So
it's windy sometimes. Okay, nope. Last year there was a snowstorm in Madrid, and my colleagues were showing me how high it was. I looked it up, and I think the shock just scared them. I think everything closes here because my coworkers were asking me, but what if you can't leave your house? Oh, so when it snows. Gotta say, COVID prepared me well, but I don't think it will snow this year. We'll see. I hope for snow. I mean, a little snow is cute, but then it turns into like mass after a few
yeah,
days. It just
yeah, I've
becomes
seen
dirt.
plenty of people from like Canada and like the north of the US where it gets like a lot of fucking snow. They're like, yeah, everybody says snow is cool until you have like this much snow and it lasts like the entire fucking week, and it's a mess, it's gross,
Yeah.
terrible.
It gets gross really, really quickly.
So right now we are at the cold, cold temperatures of 9 degrees.
Yeah, I'm not even going to comment.
Oh, you can't even see it on the screen. But yeah, it's so cold.
So in other news, you're reading apparently now.
Oh yeah, I managed to finish Crooked Kingdom before the year ended.
Uh-huh.
So I still didn't get like the my reading goal. Those every year I put like 25 books.
Okay.
Sometimes I read more, sometimes I read less. So
Mm-hmm.
this time I didn't, I got like 20 something, 20? I can't remember. But
That's okay.
I love those two books, Crooked
Six
Kingdom
of
and Six
Crows.
of Crows. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
love them. 10 out of 10. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that people kept telling me like I was going to cry on the last one.
I
And it's
mean,
just
I
like,
didn't.
me neither. It's
I
just like,
didn't because I don't care for that character. So I'm like,
exactly. It's just like, oh no,
a
he's
lot of
dying.
people, a lot of people just like the ship, so they were like devastated. But I'm like,
Like,
as
actually,
a gay, I don't care.
exactly. Actually, like the entire like separate way. As a person, he was growing, he was changing. That's cool.
Yeah.
I got to like him as a character, but in the ship, it still made me uncomfy. Eh.
It's kind of
So
like gray area, I guess.
it got
Like
better. Like
I can pick it
like
apart.
in comparison to like other ships, this one is like not that bad. It's just the fundamental part of it that made me a little bit uncomfy. So I never was like, oh my god, this ship or whatever. So It's just like, oh no, what a tragedy. Also, because I was thinking, okay, given the demographic of the characters, I was
Yes.
saying, okay, who would the author risk killing without
Yeah.
getting the entire
Yeah.
internet on her throat? So it's just like, okay, definitely not this one, definitely not that one, definitely
Yeah.
not that one. So it's just
She
like,
actually
okay,
like had, I don't know, two options or one actually.
there were three options.
Three, I
Three.
think.
Yeah. There were three options to like they could die. But I was like, not thinking this one, but the other two were definitely eh.
Contenders.
So I wasn't like surprised because I knew, like,
When
I
people
knew
say
she
you're
wasn't.
going to cry,
I
know.
like. It's just from the first book, I knew like somebody's gonna die here. Come on, but
I can just feel it.
yeah, but I have this talent. No, it's not a talent. It's just I've read enough and I've seen enough shit to like know
Hmm.
what would hurt the worst. And I always think like watching a movie, watching a TV show, I keep thinking, okay, worst case scenario, what would make people cry? What would devastate people? But I knew that the author wasn't going to risk some
Hmm.
characters because she would get like a bad reputation.
Backlash. Hmm.
Yeah, so it's just like I know that it was too obvious. But the good thing about being an author of color and queer is that
You can
I
do
can
whatever.
kill I can kill anyone. Nobody's safe.
I
And
mean,
a
you
lot
would
of
also
characters in my stories are
with
gonna die.
Twitter, you can receive backlash for anything. So
Oh
I
yeah.
wouldn't get comfy with that statement.
It's just I think in general, everybody that has been in a fandom that wants to become a creator, I think at some point they're like prepared for knowing that people are going to distort your characters.
I
People
just
are going
think
to latch on the weirdest characters. People are going to like make the worst ships out of your
possible.
stories. I have a few that are very delicate stories,
Honestly, I
and I
dropped
know
some.
people are
I
going to be
dropped
nasty
some.
about it.
I dropped some weird possibilities on purpose just to bait some people.
Mm,
I'm doing it on
yeah,
everything I'm doing on purpose. I'm actually I got reinvigorated with writing recently because I found this really helpful PDF of plot structure. I can send it to you. It's
oh yes,
amazing. It literally is. It's like plot structure for 800 words. So they literally say how many words you need to get in a chapter and how many chapters is in an act. So it's
yeah,
like it's genius. It's really good. I'm going to
yeah,
send it to you because it's amazing. And I decided to label my current draft 0, because apparently I need to do a lot of work and I just figured
yeah.
some things out and I'm like, okay, that's actually working. So
I have
that's
still
about
yet
that.
to write like a full chapter of my stories. I
You
can
gotta do
do,
it.
I know, it's just that I can do, that is the next step that I need to like tackle. Because I have, for the one that I was writing for November and a few other stories, I have like the full outline in scenes. There's like random scenes that I've like typed out. But an actual like structure chapter, I haven't done that. Also, there's the thing about like writing the story in order that is getting on my nerves.
You actually don't have to
So
do that,
I know, but it's
but
I think it
it's
would like save a lot of going back and forth between
it
readings.
will, but you don't have to do this.
Yeah. Also, I need to like I have to make like a huge poster or something to like hang above my desk that says you don't need to get it right the first time. That is what a draft is for. So, I need to
Honestly,
chill about that.
naming my draft 0 kind of elevated some stress that I have about perfectionism. So even first draft didn't help me, like naming it first draft 0, it seems more like it, it seems more fitting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot more like zen, relaxing.
Yeah.
So I've been wanting to write like badly, but there's the thing. I have like 5 different fan fiction plots on my brain living rent free right now. So I still don't know if I should write those and then go back to my story or try my
You'll
story and write these.
you'll
Ah,
never going to attempt anything if you're going to be tempted by all these ideas.
damn
Uh,
it.
write them down, put them away. Don't do it.
But
Don't do
but
it.
um
Don't do it.
uh it's just well I forgot what brain. Oh, so it's just that it's been living like rent free because it's the ship keeps popping up in my timeline. So it's I can't escape it. And it keeps just like bugging me. And I'm watching like the other day I was watching Sweeney Todd and I was
Uh-huh.
just like, this would be a perfect plot for the fanfic. They live rent free in my brain. Um I'm watching a drama right now that is just the fucking best.
Mhm.
It's about to be over. Like the last
Mhm.
episode is going to be next Friday,
Mhm.
and I am not ready. I don't want it to be over yet. And
You could always rewatch.
that is also my issue. I always rewatch things like 5 times. It's called Bad and Crazy. Highly recommend everyone.
Oh,
And
I've seen your tweets about it, I think.
yeah, I'm going fucking nuts over it. So
Mhm.
also, Bad and Crazy. It's about a detective with multiple personalities. He just like has one other personality.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Fucking loved it. The best. It's
So
like a
it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
kind of. It's just like a comedy, and they
Mm.
like get along like very well and everything. But it's just like the comedy is handled very well that you sometimes forget. It's just like yeah, it's funny. They're so cool. They're so funny together and
Mhm.
everything. And you then remember it's just like yes, but he has a split personality. That doesn't just happen.
Mhm.
What caused this and like what is the origin of it? So it keeps going like the show, and we're at a point where there
Mhm.
is a psychiatrist
Mhm.
that induces people to kill other people. Sounds familiar? So it's getting
Just your casual Friday o'clock.
it's just oh, and the main actor for the show is the guy that plays Munjo in Strangers from Hell.
Uh-huh.
So this is actually like the first TV show aside from Strangers from Hell that I have seen the actor, and I have
Mhm.
like seen the difference. Like when he plays Munjo, he doesn't move and he doesn't blink. He lost a lot of weight for the character, and he was generally like nailed down on the creepy side for that
Mhm.
character. And this character is like the complete opposite. So it's like really cool to see him play this one, and still kind of crazy.
Mhm.
So love it, 10 out of 10. Watched 2 episodes last night. Uh, they're on like Fridays and Saturdays, and
Mhm.
I'm not ready for it to be over. So since that character, the actor looks pretty similar to
Mhm.
his other character, Munjo, like
Mhm.
has the same hair and everything. People are like going crazy over like, oh, we're not getting season 2 of Strangers from Hell, so how about we just latch onto this one instead? And they're
Not
it's just like
surprised.
all the AUs possible for Strangers from Hell. It's
Worst.
right there, specifically because the
Worst.
character is in a psychiatric ward right now. So it's just
Yeah.
like it's perfect, and that's why I can't escape the I can't escape
You have to.
the fanfic ideas. It's just
You
they're
have
right
to.
there, and oh, I finished I because I was complaining about it last time, but I actually did finish watching Boys. I
Uh-huh.
watched the 16 episodes of that season. And I have
Mhm.
to say, like, first episode, shit. It got better. It got kind of good like later on because
Mhm.
It's regular like cop TV show, like nothing special, but it was like very gruesome. Even it's like censored, but it was very
Mm-hmm.
gruesome. And then it went to shit again. They wasted the villain. The villain was a serial killer played by the gay guy from the movie 𝕊𝕆𝕀𝔸𝕃.
Mm-hmm.
He did an excellent job at playing serial killer. He made a very like slutty serial killer. Loved it. 10 out of 10. Super slutty. Loved it. It's just the vibes. It's just the vibes. This motherfucker was walking around killing people with what is it
With
like a
vibrator.
it's a
What?
like a weight.
Then?
It's a weight. It's a ball, iron ball, and he kills like people like bashing them in. But he's striding around looking like a model, wearing like a pinstripe suit. Whore, loved him. Uh, he got killed in the weirdest way. That was the weirdest fucking scene of the show. It felt like it got like cut out of like a horror movie. I was very confused about it. Oh my god, ma'am!
Let her
My child.
be. Let her be. She's minding her own business, and you mind your own business.
Okay, fine. I will live for peace. So, that's it. That's been leaving rent free in my brain. And I've been in like a very gruesome mood. So I've been watching like a lot of thrillers, and I'm reading
You
thrillers right now.
always are.
Fair enough. But I gave it a
Never
break for a little
changing.
while. I gave
Never
it a break for a
changing.
little while. And my god, man,
Leave her alone.
she's biting her paw.
So she's not biting yours.
Stop, ma'am, ma'am. Is it? Stop it.
I remember
So
I told you that I lost my notes for the episodes. Apparently, I didn't. I don't know what happened, but I found them.
Oh, good. Look
So
at this disrespect. Can you see it behind me? There is
she's-
no respect in this house.
she does what she needs to do.
Oh my god, give me a second before she like rips something up.
She's not doing anything.
Oh my god, ma'am. Ma'am.
Let her be.
Now
She just wants to be cozy and warm.
you're not. No.
This is animal abuse.
What?
Literally. Okay. Are we not done?
¿Qué quieres? Ilegal. 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 Oh my god. Stop.
Ingrid, let her be. So, this is animal abuse.
What?
And it's on camera, by the way.
She's on the. She likes to sleep in the shadow, so this is too much light for her.
Okay.
And there she is.
Sure.
It's true.
We saw a body fall
Oh my god.
under the sheet. Okay, so I actually have notes for episode 1 and half the notes for episode 2. So we are
That's
prepared. We are prepared. Whew, season 3, episode 1. First of all, have you seen the sneak peek for season 4?
Yes.
All of them. I'm concerned. I don't know what's going to happen. I hate. Please go.
I watched the snippet, like the very first one you sent me where things are on fire, and then I watched the second one that actually has like scenes. There's like 40 seconds long, something. But I don't know if there's another one.
No.
Is there another one? Okay.
I think
then
it's too long.
I haven't checked. We'll check later. Oh my god. People are going to die. I just know it.
I know that people are going to die. I'm just like, who's gonna die? I kind of feel Carolyn, maybe. I kind of hope
Yeah.
Charlie maybe, because I don't want Villanelle to die.
Yeah. Same.
Like, the way they edited this sneak peek isn't very sneaky. As in, like, they straight up say, oh, so people like us don't deserve to something, like live or something, to get
Happy
happy
endings.
endings.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, revolutionary stuff. Let's kill them
We
all.
haven't seen that before.
Let's throw them off the cliff.
Oh God, I am so tired of gays
If
and
they're
cliffs. I
imagine
will go around the world placing like notices that say keep your gaze away from the cliffs.
imagine if they straight up recreated Hannibal and did the jump from, or rather push from the cliff scene. I don't know if it's genius and funny, or if it's traumatizing.
Both.
It's kind
Sometimes you
of
can have
both.
both.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has to be both.
Yeah. It's traumatizing at first, and then you kind of like, okay, this is great. As it was like with Hannibal, people were like, okay, I'm angry, but at the end we were like, okay, no, cool. It was a good idea, sort of.
Sort of
Sort
is a
of.
good, yeah, is a good word for it.
Uh,
So the only scene that is like Villanelle Eve together, like where they are together, is on a scooter, where Eve
they
is like
look
on a scooter and Villanelle is like, I want to ride it or something.
they look
Villanelle is such a
injured.
dick still, and I love it. I love that she
Yes,
continues to be a dick. Like, they weren't like, oh, she fell in love with Eve and now she's a whole different person. Like,
exactly.
she's
She's still an
been a
asshole.
dick, she continues to be a dick.
I love her. I
Like,
no, I don't want it. Too many things are like ending. I don't want killing you to end. No.
I feel like if they're not going to end it on the fourth season, they're going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Because they already don't really know what they want to do. Like, it
This
shows with the third season.
yeah, this season I was like not really that.
Especially because they want to shift, like, the whole third season, they're trying to shift the villain, like, who's bad, who's good, kind of like this power dynamic. Because first season, Villanelle is the big evil, right? And season 2, season 3, they were trying to shift it to like the 12 is the big evil. And now they're like, we really don't know who the 12 are and how they look like, you know? What's the actual structure?
It's
Like,
just
they gave
that
a few hints, but I don't think they know.
the 12, the whole idea of the 12 sounds so incredibly generic to me
It is.
that there is nothing about them that intrigues me. Like nothing. I'm not. I'm watching the last season for Villanelle and Eve. That's it. And Carolyn, because I do like, I love all the characters. I'm not entirely sure like the plot behind them.
I want Miss
But I don't
Constantine.
care the 12. No, Constantine, he
I
can die.
honestly, I won't miss him.
Like the first season when I thought he died, I was like, damn, I liked him. But the more he stayed on, I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't care if he died.
After season 3 in particular, I'm like, you can die and I'll be okay with that. I'm
Like
totally okay with that.
I would feel bad for Carolyn. I do love
I
her
would feel
character.
bad for Carolyn, but if we're choosing between Villanelle and Carolyn,
Yes,
I'm sorry, Carolyn, you have to
I
go.
know. And I think that's it. Everybody, there was, I think there was somebody. I was like the scrolling through Tumblr on the like Killing Eve tag. Somebody was very confused, I think, or what. Somebody said that Nico survived. I'm just like, I am pretty sure he's completely dead.
I mean, he's
I'm
not dead.
He's not dead.
He's not dead. He's
I
not dead.
Are you kidding me? I thought he was dead.
I think the last time we see him, he's in the hospital, and
I'm
that's it.
so confused.
Like in a
I
coma or something.
I could have
He's not
sworn he
dead.
was dead.
No. This dude is like has 7 lives. He's like a cat
it,
or like a
it
cockroach.
it's
Nothing kills
yes.
him.
It's happening to me like with Bill's husband that it was a wife. Well, to me, I honest to God thought he was dead. I thought he died.
I'm
And
still not sure about
it's just that season
Bill,
three
to
is
be
the only
honest.
I've seen it once. Like this is the second time I'm watching it, so I could have sworn the man was dead.
Same. It's the second time I'm watching this season.
It's just that
Um,
it's not very good.
it's kind of like filler in the middle, like a lot of
Yeah,
filler in the middle. It's interesting at the start and it's interesting at the end, and then the middle is kind of like, mm, mm, kind of like
yeah.
that.
And
No,
there's a few
stop
things here.
freezing.
It's just that it's not freezing anymore.
No, I was ready to flip a table.
um, what I was going to say. Oh, like at the start, on the very first episode of season 3, when they introduced Dasha, I thought she was Villanelle's mother. I know the
She
ages.
could have been, but she's not, obviously.
I don't. It's just that like the way they introduced her or anything. Because at the start, like we like who the fuck is this?
Hmm.
I thought it was Villanelle. That I thought that was like what was important about her. Not that she was going to be like Villanelle's handler in this season.
Hmm.
But I could have. The first time I saw her, I was just like, oh, okay, maybe she's related to her. And then when they started like talking about Villanelle's family, I was sure it was her. But no, nothing. No, nada.
I mean,
Oh,
I understand why they needed Dasha because she's like this person. First of all, she's conflict for Villanelle. Like she needed to have a conflict with someone, like immediate conflict, and also she needed a person that she could have dialogue with, you
yeah,
know, because we're taking out Constantine, who's like now working kind of for himself.
yeah.
Um, and she dropped the business, she dropped the 12, and she needs to get back to work if we want her back into the plot, because otherwise, how?
It's just that I feel like especially that actually have like this much notes for like each episode.
Mhm.
There's not a lot because everything ends up being kind of inconsequential. So
I mean, they're trying to like tell the story of, I mean, they're fleshing, this whole season is for fleshing Villanelle out
yeah,
because they're telling in the first and the second episode, they're heavy on Villanelle doesn't know how to lead storyline because what we're exploring is Villanelle wants to take a leadership position in the 12 and to be a keeper. I think they're called keepers. And time and time again, we see that she is too unstable and she doesn't trust people enough to be a leader. Because if you are like someone's manager, for example, you have to delegate certain things and be comfortable with delegating. There are like a bad manager, they usually say in offices, like in like corporate jobs, that a bad manager is someone who would rather do something themselves because they don't trust their like
team.
team. Yeah. So she's basically that. She's like, she doesn't trust anyone. She doesn't have many leadership qualities because she's a loner.
It's just that
Plus, she's very deranged.
it yes, but it's just like we know that. Since like season 1, we know
Mm,
that. It seems a
yes,
little
yeah.
odd that they're like trying because like the stuff about her family and everything that is important for the character, but I still think that um instead of like Eve spending the entire like most of the season just like kind of traumatized, they could have done they could have taken this season to like flesh out the both of them, and it would be
Maybe.
like half and half. It's just like half about Villanelle, half about Eve, And then on the next season, it's just like, okay, now we truly do know the both of them well enough. Now it's time to like the next step and everything.
Thing with Eve, even though we see her, like we see a different side to her this season, she's definitely more. She's like more jaded. We see her. I don't know, kind of. I don't want to say participate in her own culture, but like we see her with like assume it's her relative, like the lady that works in the restaurant,
Oh, it's just a like a friend
a friend
of ha-
of
of the
her
family.
of
Is like that woman knows her aunt or something, but it's just like that whole thing where she like went back to, it's just a very normal trauma response to like try to go towards something that you
yeah,
find
something you
safe.
know.
So like most people would actually like, for instance, they live something like a near death experience or anything, and if they don't have like a refuge at home, like for her, she couldn't go back to her husband. You go hide at your parents' house, for instance. And instead of her going like all the way back, or we don't actually like know what she speaks only Korean to her mom, but we don't know if like her mom is still in Korea. So um she just like went to the nearest thing that reminded her of home, and it was just like more cozy that way, perhaps. And the that whole thing was just like her trying to like hide at a more comfortable place. But still,
Mm-hmm.
they could have taken that chance to like develop her character a bit more,
Mm-hmm.
not in because here like season 3 is more about her overcoming the fear that she has of everything like
Mm-hmm.
related to this and trauma and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they could have still given us a little bit more about when like she was young or everything, because again, she
Mm-hmm.
does not seem very normal. She does have some characteristics that are very
What's
familiar, like
interesting to me is they spend so much time on Villanelle, and even when they spend time on Eve, they really are only hinting at things. They're not saying anything, you know. They're not straight up saying anything,
yeah.
because from those scenes that we got in the Korean restaurant where she works, we can tell that she's not close to her family.
It's just that on the
That's
first,
it.
yeah, but
But why? We don't know.
on the first like couple of seasons, she talks to her mom quite like, not often, but she does talk to her mom, and she does seem to like talk well with her. It's just that we still like don't get a lot of her story. We don't know how she ended up living in London
Hmm.
because she has an American accent. We don't know how she
She's from
ended up living
Connecticut.
in London and how she ended up working where she's working.
Yeah,
A lot of like uh, her origin, I guess.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and if she had this fascination with like dangerous people before, if it like presented
Think,
itself before,
yeah.
she did
Like
things before when she
it
was like,
doesn't seem, it doesn't seem like she visits her family, for example, or they visit her. You know.
it's just that probably they just didn't want to like make arrangements to record overseas. So uh
That's weird. Sorry.
well, I don't know, because they could have. When I first saw like the scene of the supermarket and everything, I thought she had actually gone home instead of
Oh.
like going to like the Korean part of the city.
Yeah.
And like I understand it, but they could have like, I don't know, splurged a little to go record there.
I like. They. I'm not sure what they know what they want to do. As in, like, I'm not sure they know the backstory of the character, so they are not showing it like to not show their ass, basically.
It's just,
Um,
yeah. Well, yeah, go.
they're definitely more. They definitely developed Villanelle more because they know what to do with her. As in, like, they know the backstory of this character, and I think with Eve, they're like, so she's like that, but why? We didn't figure it out yet. Maybe
Yeah.
they figured it out, and they are leaving it to like
Season 4?
for season 4. Yeah, I don't know.
Probably. It's just that I don't have like a lot of highlights of this season except for like the last few episodes.
How do you think she ended up in UK?
I think she moved
University?
I think she moved to the US or lived in the US. She studied
No,
there
she
and
is
then
from US, I think.
yeah.
I
And
googled it, and she was born in US. I think
okay.
in Connecticut.
So I think maybe she just moved in for her work. Like but I still
How do you even get in this line of work though?
it's just that they never like specify exactly what her job used to be. It
See,
was
yeah.
security that, but they don't like imply because she has a degree in psychology, and she does talk about that she studied criminal psychology. So she could have done that in the U.S. and then moved, like
She's not
looking
she's not trained enough in the field to be to
to
so
be an.
so we like so we could assume that she was like in Quantico or something,
Yeah,
like in a professional FBI kind of
she
you
could
know
have been, and
field.
then moved to. Well, it's just that like her job was a part of the MI6, like a branch or not. I'm not sure.
Like, we really don't know how she was recruited.
And
Maybe, like, I have this theory that I think is very easy to do, and they might do it, but it would be real lazy. What if one of her parents, usually it's a dad,
was a
worked
criminal.
for a special service,
Oh,
like
okay,
for special services?
got it. Could
They
be.
usually do this when they get like a female agent. It's
Yeah, it's
like,
just like
I'm trying
she's
to impress
following
my
her dad's footsteps.
daddy.
Yeah. Could be. They could like go for like my
But
dad was a detective or
it's
stuff like
such a
that.
cliche. I
Yes,
hate
I hope they
it.
don't. What I am interested in her characters, specifically like what I would like, at least that they give us a scene, is that she had uh, all the markings to be almost like a psychopath herself, but instead she was like uh, more well behaved and decided to like focus on something else. Because on season 1 and even season part of season 2, we see that she has violent impulses. Those things don't pop up out of nowhere. So
I think most people that work in this type of fields have violent impulses, actually.
not necessarily like there is an interest, but there's different reasons why people choose law enforcement. And it might be a thing about power, it might be a thing about justice, it might be something about family legacies. So it could be because her dad was in police, I don't know, law enforcement of some sort. It could be because she was trying, like for instance, psychology. A lot of people go into psychology because they have issues themselves and they want to know what they have, or they know somebody and they want to help them. That's the reason why most people go into psychology. Uh, Her studying in particular, like criminal psychology, shows that she already had from a I don't know, earlier age, at least since she was a teenager, she had interest in criminal psychology, like in criminals.
Maybe she's a true crime type of girl, you know? Maybe she
Probably
likes
it could be.
podcasts.
Maybe she does. Uh, Actually, by the way, I'm trying to find a good true crime podcast. If anybody has recommendations, should be up.
Leave them in the
Um,
chat.
and I just would like to see, because in the first season she does have like very sudden like violent impulses, but she seems scared by them and she tries to suppress
Mm,
them. I want to
obviously.
know if these urges like presented earlier during
Um,
her like teenage years,
Probably.
and what scared her into trying to hide, because when we start season 1, her
Common
husband,
sense, maybe? Society? I don't know what to tell you.
there's I think we have established that common sense is not really as
It's
strong as a
not that common.
characteristic. Yes, common sense is not that common. So, and I think fiction makes a lot more sense than real life. So, anyway,
I don't think so.
let's
He
see.
froze.
Okay, so I want to know if like what else happened in her past. If she
I hope you're
did
going to give
something,
us.
I would like to see if she did something like very violent or very reckless and she's scared enough into trying to hide it entirely.
Listen, I would
Because
100% believe that she would beat up some like girl on the playground. Like it would be totally believable for me.
like I'm
Do
talking
something
like,
dangerous, like if you add a storyline where she slept with her professor, with her married professor, I wouldn't be surprised either. If you
yeah,
add to it that she burned his house after, wouldn't be surprised
stuff like that.
also.
Yes. I'm talking like nearly gone to jail at like 16 type of behavior.
Maybe.
Like nearly killed somebody, burned something down, that kind of stuff. So that's what I would like to see of like a flashback of hers. If because again, usually I can't speak for like Asian families, of course, but I can speak for uh like Latin families
Hmm.
that are even if you have the fucking impulse to do something stupid, sometimes the actual pressure from your family is enough for you to cool the fuck down.
Hmm.
So, and repress that need to do something stupid that you end up doing when you're an adult and you're free out of like, because
So
again,
you
you,
think it's that kind of stories? She couldn't do something stupid before, so now she's
I
like
think
thinking.
my theory is she already had like very strange behavior since she was young.
Hmm.
It like came to a boil when she was in high school, maybe before college.
College.
She did something incredibly fucking stupid that was just like, she didn't go to jail for a miracle, or she got away with it, or she got too scared of it, or things got out of hand, and then she's just like, no, 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 no. I'm going to chill the fuck down. This didn't happen. I am a normal woman that does normal things, and I'm going to have a normal job with a normal husband and a normal house.
Normal job is in quotes.
Debatable.
I think
But
I think she kind of pulled all her in, like all these instincts that she had, she poured into her job, which is weird.
again, and she still got like the safe version of the job she really wanted, because with
Yeah.
the aptitude she had for like research and like everything, she could have gotten a job in the force. It's just that the thing is, she maybe didn't pass, just like Will Graham, like didn't get to be an FBI agent because he wasn't stable.
Couldn't shoot.
So maybe hey, he could shoot. So maybe she
we
couldn't be an
know that
agent because
we
of
know
that.
that he couldn't at some point. Um, I mean, with her, I think we also have to take into the consideration that she's a woman, and we see it in
Yeah,
the first season that she is not taken seriously a lot because she is a woman.
yeah.
So maybe it's that too. Also, like the women that are taken seriously are just not the types of women that, like, they're not Eves of the world,
Yeah.
you know? Women that are taken seriously are villanelles of the world that can turn violent like in a second and like murder you.
It's
Also, Carolyn, it's just because she's a cold bitch.
Yeah,
Um, so
stone cold bitch.
I
Love
bet
her.
I actually, and the third season proves my point. I actually think a lot of people really don't like Carolyn at work.
Yeah, is she left like a lot of disaster behind her, in that she's very like
She's girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep type of
gatekeep.
person,
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
She's
And
like, she's also like not a lean in type of woman, you know, this book Linen about feminism in corporate. She's
yeah,
like, she doesn't care about other women at the office. She will step over them.
there's also the thing about her that I think, and I think this season really shows it. I think she believes, and it might have been true for her, that having a family was a mistake, because she, without a family, she would have been fucking unstoppable.
I think she had a family. I actually like am very interested why she decided to have a family. Maybe it's sometimes I'm like, no one forces you to have a family, really. Like no one forces you, like no
Yeah,
one like puts a gun to your head and says go marry or go have kids, but there's an expectation. And I think when you have a high ranking position in society or at work or somewhere and you want to get higher, it's expected of you to like to have a certain image. So
yeah.
perhaps,
Like politicians,
yeah.
they sometimes have families that are just like literally a prop. They're just like made up. They're like real family, but it's just like accessories, background noise, anything, just like to seem more normal and more approachable and more whatever. So
I mean, I
it's
would
part of
say
the
that Carolyn doesn't love
chemistry.
her kids. I mean, she really loves Kenny, and it's very
Yeah,
obvious, but she's just, I think, with the line of work that she does, she used to like having this front, and she doesn't really want, like, I think she thinks during those few episodes at the start that if she's going to break down and cry or something or grieve, um, she's going to like she's not going to be able to put herself together at all.
yeah,
So it's like, you know, when you let a tear out and you cannot stop crying at all,
yeah.
like, and you cry for a couple of hours, I feel like that's how she feels about
She,
this.
I think it also kind of caught her by surprise how much she actually cared. Because she was not, she's so practical, she was not expecting to like break down, that she didn't like notice sometimes,
Mhm.
and she was trying to hold it together, and still um she had kids. She wasn't like entirely, she doesn't really like have a lot of like mother instincts, I guess, but she did grow to love her kids. Kenny, especially because he was very similar to her in like sense of humor, type like practicality. There were a lot of things that were similar, except that Kenny was he was he had a heart. He was nowhere
Naive
near as
and
cold.
kind, and
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, Kenny. Uh,
Listen, the way I like when I first watched this episode, I was so fucking pissed off. I was pissed off. So, I think we should start from the
I
top.
might have cried a little the
I
whole.
don't remember, but I was pissed off.
I did.
We start with a different murder, which is an old murder in USSR, apparently. Performed by Dasha, who is a gymnast, and we see her later as an older woman. Um, I want to say that the trainer has a terrible accent, and in no fucking way I would believe that it's a Russian person.
I just, why don't they hire people that
Russian
actually
people,
know Russian? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think they hire Russian immigrants, maybe, or like second wave immigrants that are like their parents immigrated and they know a little bit of Russian, because you can tell that they know, like they understand the language. It's
Yeah.
just their pronunciation is really weird.
It's the same with like Spanish. Usually in like American movies, they
Hmm.
have actors or something that are suddenly speaking Spanish for whatever reason, and they're supposed to be like Mexican or like from the South,
Hmm.
and they still speak weird. It's just like, yes, it is Spanish. Yes, it's technically correct, but you know the actors are actually American. Like you know they live there. So it's just like, why don't you? There's so many actors that
I
know English
bet.
that you can hire. We're literally fucking across the border. They have no fucking excuse, but they always do this. And
I
also,
think they just don't care. It's just
no, they
so
don't.
small for them. They
And oh, and also they like if they need an actor from like I don't know, Colombia, they get somebody from like Chile or Peru or like
it's more
Mexican. It's
like,
just like
do you look a little bit like that? They're like, okay, so it
you're
counts.
all interchangeable. We would have never noticed.
I mean, in the time when the internet wasn't a thing, where when Twitter
Look at
wasn't a
that little
thing,
ghost.
no one noticed. Yeah, I can tell. I can see. So you're trying to tell me that she's alive. I can believe Candy died like a dog. Why like a dog? Poor boy. I mean, I'm immediately like, I don't know. My
I
connection is immediately to South Park and Kenny, who always died. So I'm
I
like,
know.
did they name him
The
Kenny
name
for
is
that?
cursed. The name is cursed.
His name apparently is Kennard or something, and I'm like,
Kenneth?
what?
Uh,
What in the
the
hell is that
the
name?
the second episode, yeah, it is the second. He dies one on the first and the second.
We're talking about the first episode.
But
Sorry,
when does Kenny die?
Kenny died in the first episode at the end.
Okay, got it. I thought it was like the second one
No,
for some reason. I they were there's this
they went
thing.
with the big guns immediately.
Yes, there's this thing that people do, like authors and directors and everything, that whenever a character is about to die, they give them a lot of screen time or like an unusual amount of warm and
Yeah,
fuzzy
yeah.
moments before they kill them. So it's just like this is a little suspicious. Anyway,
Sometimes, it doesn't end in death. Sometimes it means that they're going to reveal something or find something. I was hoping that he's going to find something on the 12th. Baby. This is why I love the Chinese rep in Shang-Chi. Everyone spoke Mandarin, but with completely different accents that were suitable for each character. I still need to watch that.
it's
Actually,
good.
I need to watch it today because I have it on my streaming service. In
It's
Hong
good.
Kong, people spoke with Malaysian and Cantonese accents, and it made sense. The Chinese Americans had an American accent. It was great. But oh my god, in Mr. Robot, the Minister of Defense of China has the strongest American accent. It's always cringe. It's
Yes.
interesting that the trainer had, like, he almost sounded like an Estonian guy that tried to speak Russian. And the guy that was in love with Dasha, her boyfriend, I suspect, had a pretty great Russian. Like, his Russian was pretty great. And I was like, okay. I was kind of
Impressed.
surprised. Yeah, and impressed. I was like, okay, it actually sounds very decent. And not like it's a foreigner speaking Russian. Also, the gym is far too glamorous, but we're not going to touch on that. I'm also listening to, not right now, but right now, as in general.
Mhm.
I'm listening to the fourth Vampire Academy book, and in it, the main heroine went to Siberia on a train, which there are trains that go there, uh, and she was describing the trains as luxurious. I suspect, like, the vibe was correct. The order definitely, like, googled it and looked at the pictures. She just didn't know that it smells like pee. Like, all the strains, they smell like pee, like old people. Like they are not glamorous at all. They might look glamorous, the VIP section, but no, like they're not
There was
that
something
good.
like that in a book. It's just that I violently hated that book so much that I kind of like erased it from my mind mostly. It's a book called Less.
The end?
Um, it has like the
No,
image.
not lesbian.
It's just called Less,
Oh,
like
we mean less.
less
I was
with
like
double S.
les b.
No,
No.
it's just about a gay guy in his what
Oh,
40s
I got
something
it.
that he
He's
travels.
like falling in the sky and
Yes,
covers. I think I have it. I didn't read it though. I bought it.
it's I bought it the same because I saw it on like queer books TBR and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
I found it like here in Mexico, just like okay, cool, I got it. I read it like 2 years ago or something like
I
that.
think it's nonfiction.
It's
No,
no, it is. It's
I thought it's a
I'm pretty sure
memoir
it
or
is.
something.
It's it's like apparently the white gay version of Eat, Pray, and Love,
Oh,
and
okay.
but it manages to be like offensive of the places that he goes to.
Oh,
And
okay.
I think one of the things that I hate the most about a
Mhm.
story is
Mhm.
when the author is too fucking lazy to justify anything
Okay.
and they acknowledge it on the book. Like for instance, this guy is just like he magically attracts everybody. It's just like, oh, I cannot explain what is so attractive. It just is. It's just like
Okay. But he is
right.
attractive. Like he's not
There
widely.
is something about him that draws men
He's
in, and
not
it's
like
just
okay.
it's
Okay.
and there's this moment where he goes into a subway in Mexico City.
Mhm.
I don't even think he fucking Googled it. And he was saying some shit that was just like, damn, this is fucking news to me. I didn't know. Thanks, I guess.
Was
It's just
it
like
glamorous?
there's a moment where he mentions that there's like officers with like red berets on the
Okay.
subway. And it's just like, excuse me, where in my fucking country they wear red berets? And we do have soldiers around, especially
Mhm.
on the border. But first of all, they never wear berets ever. Also, they're not on the subway and they're not like in the city center.
I
They're on
think
the borders.
he mixed something up with some other Latin American country, maybe.
I don't understand. I just remember that there was some like off shit about it. And I was very confused. And but still, like everything he talks about is just like, get the fuck out of my country. Bitch.
I mean,
And
I
the relationship is very icky.
okay.
The He's talking about this whole journey starts because his ex is getting married and he's
Mhm.
turning 50, I think, and he wants out. It's just or 40, 50 or 40, one of those two.
Mhm.
And so he wants out and he goes on a journey. And just like, yeah, it's
Okay.
self-discovery, whatnot. But his ex is the adoptive son of his rival.
What
He met
in the soap opera hell
he
is
met
that?
him as a teenager. It's just like,
What?
excuse me. It's in general, he's like not rival. It's just like a friend that he's like very petty and bitchy
Okay.
with. But how would you marry or try to be in a relationship with your friend's son?
I
It's
mean, this
icky.
age gap definitely happens in
It does, but it's icky.
gay
So
relationships.
I know, but it's icky. Not necessarily on like the age gap. I can process an age gap when two people like don't know each other and meet and just like, okay, cool, you met as adults.
But the fact
You
that
met
he kind
this
of
guy
knew
as a
him as a
child.
child is weird.
Exactly.
It's
It's
weird. It's
it's
really
like
weird.
especially because usually, like, I know it's not the same for everybody, but usually people treat like your parents' friends as like extended family. At least here we do. It's just like if they're like best friends, your parents are best friends, that person is like an aunt or an uncle to you. So
I mean,
it's weird.
Katie Robert doesn't believe in that. I'm just going to put it out there.
Who?
Katie Robert, the one that writes all this erotic fiction about women fucking dads of their boyfriends or whatever.
Oh.
She doesn't believe in that concept.
I know it's a whole thing, and
It's a
I
whole
know it's a whole,
genre. It's a
yes,
whole thing.
but like if you are supposed to like root for this relationship, it's just weird. And he like there's a part where he goes to India and he's saying very weird things about a 3-year-old girl. So it's
I'm
just
out.
like
I'm
how
out.
about you don't try to put a child as an exotic temptress?
What?
I know you're gay, but that is still fucking weird.
What in the Yeah, I'm out. The book was 199 anyway. I can lose that. I feel like I can
There's absolutely that was one of the first books that I finished reading out of rage. I was
I wouldn't
angry. I was
I would have
hoping it
just
would end
DNF'd it.
badly.
I would have DNF'd.
It's just it kept getting like, are you serious?
It kept getting
Progressively
disturbing,
worse.
more and more disturbing.
It's just like at the start, like at first I pretty much understood like, okay, he is very different from me. It's a very different perspective of life. It's a middle-aged white gay man. I get it. Completely different from my perspective of life. Dude, don't.
Imagine seeing your friend have a baby and in 20 years you're gonna fuck them. Gross.
And
Men,
they try to.
I'm going to like tell you all a secret. Men are gross.
Yes.
Not all men,
Exactly.
but a couple of them. Like you would be a godparent or an uncle. Why insert your genitals in? I don't know. People are horny and they lack moral compasses. So, you know.
It's just.
I'm DNFing it before even starting it.
Exactly. And
Okay.
specifically, if I see the phrase, how much you've grown related to your like partner, I'm out. It's just like, oh, you got so big, you've grown so much. Excuse me. Um, so
No.
you do remember them as a child, then you're
No.
very much aware that you met them as a
No.
child when you were
No.
a full fucking
No.
adult.
No.
Ah.
No.
So
No.
yeah,
No. No.
in
No. No.
I think there's a part where he goes to Germany. There's a part in India. There's a part in very brief in Mexico, and I can't remember where else. But everywhere he went, he was passively aggressive, offensive to the place. Like he complained about Germany, he complained about India, he complained about Mexico. He's just like, but that very passive aggressive way of complaining that is just like, oh, it's just so different from what I know. Or this is surprisingly good compared to what I was expecting. That type of fucking comments that I would have slapped the bitch out of him. I would have slapped him out of my country. Seriously. If I meet people like that in my country, I'm slapping them out of it. I will slap you across the border. Fuck
I
you.
mean, I'm a known complainer, but I'm just a complainer about.
There's a difference when you
anything
complain to
dysfunctional.
like. There's a difference when you complain about like, oh, the food service is not good, or like, damn, this hotel is kind of shady, or stuff like that. That is like localized to like that specific
Yeah.
experience. To when you, oh my god, I didn't know you people knew about this, or I didn't. This is more than I was expecting from you people.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Don't call us.
Yeah.
Some Woody Allen shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That exact like vibe, and specifically somebody that only knows how to like pity themselves.
Let's get to funner, more entertaining things, and surprisingly healthier relationships that we were than the one that we were discussing here. Um, um,
Oh my god, you
Villanelle.
just that comment just unlocked like memories from middle school.
No,
Okay,
no,
let's
no,
go back
no.
to yeah, let's go back to killing
Villanelle
you.
apparently hitched herself to a rich lady,
Yeah.
and
Um
the speech that she gives at the wedding is iconic, hilarious.
yes.
I love her. It's everything. I also love how the bride is like, met this woman maybe a couple of weeks ago and is like, yeah, all of this, what she says, is okay. Like, she loves me. She's just sarcastic.
That is such an awkward wedding. Like everybody was just like, "This is real? Like, are you actually getting married? Like, really?"
Thing
And they
is,
were
it's
like,
so
"Let's be
interesting.
polite and help you about it."
Yeah, they're like, the bride literally was pretending that her future wife is like, it's just her sense of humor, you know? It's just her sense of
Damn.
humor. Basically, what she says is that she approached her, like Villanelle says that she approached her fiance because her loafers were very expensive and because she was dressed well. Which,
Yes.
like, I guess it could be taken as a joke, but we
Yeah.
know Villanelle, so it's not a joke.
It's
And
exactly.
the thing that I loved even more is when she said, "When I think about my ex today, I'm much happier that she's dead." And I'm like, man.
In general,
And
speaking
everyone
of
is
your
like,
ex at your wedding, everybody like half that wedding was prepared for the drama. They were expecting some shit like this. They were like on the lookout for it.
they definitely talked. It was like that lesbian wedding that everyone talks about, like those two girls that decided to move in on the second date. They were
Yes.
like, this too, something is gonna happen here. Like,
Yeah.
we're waiting for something to happen.
Also, I was
So
very confused about the fashion in that wedding. I don't know about weddings, like expensive weddings in Spain, but they looked very British, the outfits.
most weddings in countries, as far as I know, in countries outside of US, I don't know like about every country, but European countries for sure. A lot of them don't have like this bridezilla shit where the bride can tell you what you have to wear, as in like the color scheme, that kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Everyone just dresses formally.
No, no, no. It's just that, yes, but I was like a little confused because usually I always see that those types of dresses and the hats in like British ceremonies. So I was a little bit confused to see it in Spain. But again, I've never seen, I don't remember ever seeing actually like a Spanish wedding. So I can't say it because here, like, here it's the same. It's just like you wear what you have, uh you just ask like it's a cocktail dress or like a full uh elegant dress, and that's it. That is the only
No
thing
one
they
even
ask.
asks that. It's like people tell the stories about people coming to weddings in white dresses, and they're like
They have,
flipping shit
yes.
about it, and people constantly come in white stuff to the weddings that I've been to,
I
as in
keep thinking
like
that is just on
in
purpose for
in
dramas.
Republic of Moldova. No, it's just, especially like older aunties, they don't have, you know, a lot of pretty clothing. So they usually have like one dress, two dresses, or maybe like a suit or something.
We have very good rental services here that you can rent a very fancy dress or a very fancy like suit for a couple of days and give it back. So usually people don't buy like I have a couple of cocktail dresses. I haven't worn them in years, but I have a few that are just like if I have to go like to an event or something, it's just like okay, I can grab that. But for like very fancy stuff, weddings and everything, especially weddings at night, they have rental services for that. It's just you go try on a few dresses. Okay, this one and that's it, and off you go. Even for like
I loved how
bridesmaids
you
and everything.
say. I love how you said weddings at night, as if they don't go on for 6 hours and more.
No, the reception is something else. And there's here the weddings are in three parts. It's just the ceremony of the church. It's usually during the day,
Yeah,
or like late afternoon. Then there is a reception, like the party
yeah.
for the wedding. And then you go to the house of either the bride or the groom,
Mhm,
the parents' house, or
mhm,
whoever puts the house, and
mhm,
then you continue the party and you drink until like morning. Usually, those weddings end around noon the next day,
mhm,
and people like stay awake. It's just like drinking and eating. You have dinner, breakfast, eat something in the middle of the night, and then you leave late. Sometimes, uh, like friends leave, but extended family stays. So you eat breakfast, pass out, wake up, eat something else, stick around for dinner the next day, and then you leave.
a proper party.
It's just like
Um,
usually it's like a 3 day stuff, the proper ones.
the
And
Moldovan weddings that I've been to, they have church, and usually only like close relatives go there. Second, uh, second place is like papers at the registry. Uh, Third place is the reception, and it's usually like evening and till the morning kind of deal. Kind of like at 5 a.m. people start to go home. And after a day, the newlyweds have to ask a selection of people to come for soup at their house. It's called coming for soup, literally. I don't know why, but
tradition.
Russian weddings are different. It's just 2 hours or 3 hours, and that's it. That's cap.
Fast.
Yeah, it's kind of like I honestly at the same time I'm like I don't want to spend this much time at a wedding. I don't like weddings.
I do like them, but depends entirely on like who's doing the ceremony.
We just have
But
so many relatives, and they all ask weird questions, and I'm
yeah.
like, please.
Well, it's just that again, like we spend the second we are all very well behaved in church, like very respectful. We attend to the ceremony,
Mhm.
everything's nice, everybody's looking nice. But the second we get to the reception, it's let's see who gets drunk first without passing out. And that is like we drink a lot, especially like well, part of my family. So and but the last wedding I was with my family, the family got divided between the Christian side and the Catholic side. So the Christians were pretending to not be
Oh.
unreasonably attracted to the alcohol. So they were like,
Oh.
half the party was very like calm and poised
Demure.
and just like we are enjoying this joyous
Sure.
celebration and whatnot.
Sure.
And the other fucking side was just fucking wild. So the reception ended. We went to my uncle's house.
Mhm.
That house is just like a rite of passage. We have all puked in that backyard. Very important. Uh, oh, also that house is very
Nothing
haunted.
grows there.
That house is super haunted. So haunted house plus being drunk, that is a wild fucking combination. Oh, and so we moved the party there, and by the time we're there, we're actually very, very, very drunk. Most of us. And
Mhm.
the cluster of Christians close together at a corner of the house, not drinking. it's fun. It was fun. They ended up drinking anyway, just when the Lord allowed it, maybe.
Yeah, at a certain moment
Yes,
when the stars
and
aligned.
it was yes. They were waiting for it. The whole
Thing
message.
is, Russian weddings, like the fights at Russian weddings are so common that there is even people even say that a wedding without a fight is not lucky. So I don't know what to tell you. People drink a lot at weddings, like a lot, and usually something happens. Think happen.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not a fan of weddings only because there are so many relatives and they all want to talk to you or dance with you or stuff, and you don't even know who they are. And also, they all love to ask me when I'm going to get married, if I'm going to be next,
Yeah.
when I'm going to pop 3 children for them, so that's lovely. Um, I mean, since they just met, the wedding was on short notice. The entire extended family showed up for the drama and the food. Yeah, I think so. Also, maybe this woman, that 𝕊𝕆𝕀𝕸 was marrying, was so rich and she's feeding all her relatives, that kind of deal, as in, they all in her pockets.
Yeah.
It's an older nobility type of clothing, I think, so I think it works for any upper class family in Europe.
Okay.
Maybe. I love weddings because my cousins are all atheists. My grandma would walk around with her camera taking souvenir pics of all the young adults cooking in the shrubbery. My grandma's very Catholic though. She's just funny. You do realize that these photos continue to exist somewhere, and someday someone is going to show it to your partners at some point. That's what my mom did. She literally has so many embarrassing photos and videos of us, of me and my brother. She has plenty of videos of my brother. My brother had this exhibitionist period when he was a child. When my mom took a camera, picked up the camera, he just dropped his trousers and leaned to
Yes.
show his ass to the camera. Um, and she was like, okay, if you want to be photographed like that, sure. And she had plenty of those kinds of photos. And she decided that it would be fun to show these photos to his girlfriends throughout the years. As you can understand, it was very embarrassing for him. So he burned most of them, but I think she still has some, maybe 2 or 3. So
There
my mom,
are
ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, my mom also has embarrassing pictures and of us, but not that embarrassing. I'm grateful,
I
but
don't know what came through him, honestly.
children are weird. And
Yeah,
oh, my mom made the most of taking pictures of
she's
us,
snoring so loud.
especially I know she's like a little engine. She sounds like a
Yeah,
motorcycle. And she sleeps since my room is cold, she sleeps on the bed with me. And she just sometimes crawls up, so she's snoring right next to me.
right into her ear.
Love my baby. And she made the most of taking pictures of me when I was little because as I got older, I fucking hate taking
Refused.
pictures. I hate taking pictures of myself. I get one selfie a year if we're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And so every picture from 10 years old then on, it's like all those pictures of cryptids, like Bigfoot and everything. It's just me blurry in the background passing by, or just about to everybody's standing still and I'm about to clock out, so it's just the blur. And yes, I am not entirely here. I am a figment of their imagination.
None of them are of me, so I'm not worried.
Smart.
Smart, very smart. So basically, this wedding is
A mess.
opulent, but it's also nonsense. And what happens is Villanelle notices that something happens in the background,
She was
and
expecting her
everyone
mom.
already thinks that she's weird except for the bride. So she's like, what is happening here? Like the way they like, there's a bride and groom, as in bride and bride dance, and Villanelle is like, doesn't I think Villanelle doesn't know how to dance because she's like, her
Very
bride is
awkward,
like
yeah.
dancing around her, and she's like,
Just
yeah, I love
vibing.
it, but I just don't know what I'm doing. And everyone is like ready to party. You can tell that everyone is like, yeah, we're partying. And Velana is like looking at something in the background, and then she sees Dasha, and she's like, "Fuck this wedding! I'm just going to catch her and beat her up." And like, what happens next is my favorite sequence. The bride is crying in the corner. She's straight up hysterical, like crying buckets. Everyone, random people are fighting now. Random people.
The children are throwing food.
The
The
children are
children
throwing
grab the
food.
cake and they're throwing it around.
A random guy in the background drinks from the bottle of champagne. Just when no one sees him, he's like, I'm just going to take this bottle and it's gonna be
Yeah.
mine. And I just noted that this is what weddings are all about.
There's
This
a
is
guy
how the
having a
weddings
heart
are
attack.
supposed to look like.
There was a guy in a chair having a heart attack over this whole
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thing. Oh my god, that was just delightful.
Who do you think is the parents of the bride?
I didn't pay attention. I don't think I paid attention to see if there were like,
Neither have
because
I.
there was no like clear who the family of the bride was. Everything was just
Yeah.
like all those guests are
What
exclusively
if she's
bride.
like what if she's like some kind of, I think for the kind of money that she has to be an heir to something.
Yeah.
Maybe these people are not her relatives. Maybe they're her employees.
I have no idea, but some of the
No,
reactions
they're
is very much a family. Like the guy that
maybe,
was like taking a swig from
the
the
bottle.
champagne. I'm betting that's like an uncle, that's a brother, that's someone
Mm-hmm.
relatively closer that was already expecting this to go to shit, and they were just like, there it is, time to drink. And they
Thing
were like,
is,
yeah,
it was a pretty sweet deal for Villanelle.
yeah.
The bride is cute, willing to deal with your bullshit, and like doesn't complain about your sense of humor. Also doesn't mind that you have an ex who apparently, like, it's very obvious that you're not over
Yeah.
whatever happened there. Has a huge house, is pretty rich, and is willing to like keep you basically.
I, it was a very good deal, but
Yeah.
she
Villanelle is
didn't really
just
care.
so unstable and reckless. She's just like, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to marry this woman.
I was
And I'm
actually
gonna live.
surprised.
I wasn't surprised. She was
No, no, no.
like,
I was surprised because at first I thought she was going to like I don't know, like take her place or something like that. Like kill her and keep everything. But
oh,
again, she reached, I think that was her initial plan maybe when she saw like the clothing and
maybe.
everything. And then she saw just like, oh, she has a lot of people know her, so can uh,
Yeah.
and
Would be
she has
suspicious.
this house or anything. Exactly. And maybe along the way she would have married her and
Yeah.
killed her and keep
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
but like probably that was on the table for a plan of hers.
Yeah, of
But
course.
it's during the wedding she was clearly expecting someone, and so I don't know, like she thought, she was convinced that Eve was dead, so she was expecting the 12 to
I
show.
think she
She was
wasn't.
probably expecting Constantine.
Maybe. I think she was just reckless. She was like, I'm going to marry her. And then she was like, no, I don't think I want to.
Yeah.
So she was like, okay, I'm just going to make a mess of this wedding. Classic Villanelle, to be
Yeah,
honest.
and the Dasha and her driving away in the car that says just married.
Just married.
That
Um,
that whole scene was, and again, when I remember when the trailer came out for that season,
oh, I
that
don't.
there was the scene of the wedding of Villanelle doing a
Mm-hmm.
toast at the wedding. people were going crazy thinking that it would be like something more important, not just
Oh,
like this tiny segment of the first
they
episode and
baited
that's
you
it.
so hard.
Exactly. People were thinking like, oh my God,
You were so mad, I bet.
and
So
a
pressed.
lot of people were very mad, yes. I was just like, oh, that's it. Okay, well, that's fine. That's still fun though. But I
Actually,
was
it would have
expecting
been more
something more.
interesting if she stayed married to this woman.
Yes,
I
and
think.
yes, it would have been, they could have like juggled both of her trying to get back to the 12 and still
And
being married to this woman.
yeah,
But I had to admit,
considering that it's also in Spain.
yes, I had to admit, the apartment, it's just a house. It's a house or it's an
It's a
apartment? It's a
house. It's
house
a house.
that they gave her. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. I love it. That is
I
my
have
favorite one.
I have one complaint about 𝕊𝕳𝕀𝔸𝕃 design in the season. I hate her fashion. I hate her fashion in the
Yeah,
first episodes. It's very boho style with like patterns that are very Slavic
they were
patterns.
trying. It's just that
And
I don't even think they
mm,
recorded anything in Spain, by the way. I'm pretty sure it
oh,
wasn't even in Spain.
I can't really tell because
It
a
feels,
lot of Europe is very generic looking.
yeah, but
So
it feels very like a movie set. Everything.
it could
It
have
feels
been.
very much like a movie set, except for like they only show like a few streets and everything, and it still does it looks European, but not like exactly Spain. And
It's hard
they
to
tried
tell.
they tried to like they put on the fucking yellow filter. They tried to like make it look warm. They tried to give Villanelle very uh it's not like I don't even know where they were trying to make her look vaguely Spanish with the clothing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just again,
vaguely Spanish,
I
vaguely.
vaguely.
Um,
That is the fashion choice at the start. Vaguely Spanish.
and it's a bad choice. I honestly don't think it's very flattering. I also like I
Listen
just
to
hate
her.
this pattern. I hate those patterns. I think they're so cheap. Like to me, they're cheap because
The
this kinds
or
of patterns. I it's like sometimes brands try to make them high fashion, and I'm like, no,
no.
because grannies here in Russia wear these kinds of patterns.
Yeah.
Like their summer dresses are from these patterns, and like the only like frame of reference that I have for these patterns is like USSR cheap dresses. So I just
There's
can't.
there's this specific type of like patterns that we like aunts and old ladies use for couches, for cushions and curtains, oh, and tablecloths. So sometimes, like I was watching, it was just like, you look like a fancy curtain or a nice
Yeah,
couch.
yeah.
Like for instance, when there was the start of like Adele getting like big in music industry, the dresses that she wore that were like all pattern
I don't remember.
in Mexico, people were just like, she's wearing uh
Curtains.
a curtain, or is she wearing the pattern of a couch? If she sits down here, she's going to disappear. It's camouflage. So that was also like I was thinking about the style that Villanelle was wearing sometimes, just like you sit down on someone's couch and you're going to disappear.
That short summer dress with cowboy boots. A fashion crime. It is a crime. I
Oh,
couldn't look at it. I thought my eyes are going to bleed. I know that that cowboy boots for some reason are in fashion right now with dresses, and I'm like, this is atrocious. I don't know what's going on with you, fashion
like
industry. It's
like
disgusting.
they cowboy boots. I like only the short ones. Just like I don't know, like short boots. I don't know. They
Okay,
have a name.
yeah. Do I know the name? No.
No, me neither. But they have a name.
Okay.
There's some of those look good, but like the
With
full size
jeans,
boots,
with pants.
or even like I've seen with like short like denim shorts,
Yeah,
that
sure.
looks it fits because it's just like along those lines.
Yeah,
When they try to pair those boots with anything else, it just looks
with a 70s mod dress that she was wearing. No, thank you. Was
bad.
it 70s or 60s? Something in those.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, something like
Uh,
that.
Also they tried to like use very like vintage looking clothes.
No, no.
And
Um, I like her in suits. Don't try to fix something that is not broken.
exactly. It's just that and she has worn patterns before. Like on the first seasons, she has had a few outfits that are patterned and they look good. It's just
Chic.
this particular style that doesn't suit her very well.
When she leaned more French, I loved it more.
Yeah. And it's just fashion season 1, season 2, spectacular. Especially I think season 2 was the best.
I think there are just different outfits that I like from different
Yeah.
episodes. Not specifically season 1 or season 2, just all over the
And
place. Yeah.
what else happens? Okay, they
Carolyn gets a
leave.
new boss and a
Yeah.
new colleague. I actually like the new guy. Don't remember his
Yes.
name.
Me neither.
Uh, these guys, they never stay for long, so I don't see like there's no reason for me to remember.
Yeah.
The new boss is I literally typed he's an annoying cunt, and
Exactly.
I think
That
we're going
description.
to leave it at that. He's literally like, oh, Carolyn, I know that you worked so hard for your job and like you're very competent, but I'm going to come here and disregard your whole experience. As in, like, I'm
That
smarter than you, even though
there's
I'm just
that
a paper pusher.
exactly. There's just that passive aggressive, so nice, but being a cunt underneath it that is just like ah annoying. And also, I the first time I watched this season, I thought last season Hugo died.
He
Uh,
apparently is alive.
he's alive and he's suing them
So,
for just good move, my guy.
yeah, I think it's a boss's
Get that
move,
bag.
and that is what he was supposed to do, I think, in the first place. I was really laughing at the hearing that Carolyn gets. Like the hearing, like I don't know who these people are, like some kind of
Yes.
ethic committee or something. And I cackled the most at like nothing was authorized. Like this whole mission was a fail. Also, you have this amount of money of unpaid lunches. A
They
way like
apparently
to be this petty
exactly. It's just like, oh, you also forgot to pay, I don't know,
for your
parking lot.
lunches. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The fuck? Okay. And but I just love these like offbeat jokes that they put in. It's just lovely.
It just gives this TV show flavor, I think.
Yes.
We get Eve, that is in the Korean supermarket looking like shit.
Yeah.
She's apparently still suffering from her wound, and the cashiers are talking about a romantic honeymoon in Italy, and Eve is upset. She's so upset because her romantic getaway to Italy ended badly.
Yes. Also, I just love uh the food she got. Just like wine bottles and
Ramen,
instant noodles.
yeah.
Delightful.
She's like,
That is
I'm just going to eat ramen and drink wine.
exactly
Um, she's
gold.
like so grumpy this episode. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm mad. I'm mad. It's almost
And
cartoonish how mad she is.
yes.
But also,
And also complaining about like the pain from
mm,
the it's just very funny because usually people never show pain after being shot. It's just like in
in
most
action
like TV
movies,
shows, action movies, somebody gets shot, they get patched up, and it's like the wound never fucking existed.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sometimes they even remember to put a scar, maybe,
Sometimes
but sometimes.
when
Sometimes
they're
there's
not
like
too
nothing.
lazy,
I just
mhm.
love how in TV shows people get like cuts on their faces and everything. Not a scar ever again.
Just
You
aesthetics. and that's it.
There's shows I've seen where there's like somebody's really beaten up. In the next episode, there's nothing on their face. Just
Clear
like,
face.
okay, you heal very fast.
Yeah.
So
The power of retinol, the power of a good moisturizer.
exactly. Skincare. So that should be a joke somewhere. Like, weren't you like very beat up yesterday? Oh, I have a good skincare routine.
Yeah.
And
We also see like that they continue to show that Eve is violent actually because she bumps into a guy on the street on purpose.
yeah.
She hits
And
him on purpose with her shoulder.
she's just like, there's this ridiculous phrase I love. I have no idea where my mom picked it up, but it's just like being so angry that you're walking in a forest kicking squirrels.
We have something
exactly
similar here. Something almost the same, I think, actually. It's just not squirrels or something else, and not a forest. I need to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out.
Okay. There's also this audio, I think, from TikTok or Instagram. I don't know. I've heard it there. That is just a guy saying, "Oh my God, I'm so mad. I'm gonna go to Antarctica and shoot a penguin." It's just like, excuse me, why the penguin? I don't know why that is so fucking funny to me. It's just poor penguins. So she's basically in that mood of kicking squirrels, shooting penguins, and in the cold. And always, please, people, remember when you're carrying glass bottles, hug them. So you can drop your ramen, but you cannot drop your wine or anything else on glass.
Or your baby. Actually, they say you can drop a baby, but not on their side. Don't take it from me, I don't have any babies, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah, that is mine, and she lands on her feet. Like a cat.
So Dasha's trying to recruit 𝕊𝕆𝕀𝕸 back into the organization because her motive is she wants to get back to Russia. Apparently, since the USSR dissolved, she never came back.
She was exiled or something over a crime, I think.
Maybe she was exiled. Yeah, maybe she was exiled because of that crime that we were shown at the first.
Or something with something.
So she did something and she can't get back.
Because
it's common. Actually, it's a thing. Some people that I don't know. Actually, if it's still a thing, but people that left during the USSR period, some people run. Basically, you couldn't run because they took your passports, and you couldn't leave. But some people figured out ways to run with illegal papers and started living in different countries. And after USSR dissolved, they wanted their passports back, as in they wanted to have not visa but Russian what is called green card, but it's not green card here, but you know what I mean. Yeah, citizenship. They wanted to get their citizenship back, and I think they can do it, but it's not a very easy process. Basically, she wants to get back to Russia. A note that I have as a Russian person is 𝕊𝕆𝕀𝕸 notices a box of cookies and it says 𝕊𝕆ℂ𝕀𝔸𝕃 on it. It's an actual Russian font. It's Cyrillic. And 𝕊𝕆ℂ𝕀𝔸𝕃 means it's a cute name for a cow. It's a... In Russian, cow is korova. 𝕊𝕆ℂ𝕀𝔸𝕃 is cutesy name. She says they talk about this box of cookies as if they actually exist, and I'm just here to tell you that they don't. But we actually have a very iconic sweet that is named korovka, which is also a cute name for korova. We have a lot of cute short, not short names for stuff. like people have their full name and like 7 short names. It's very common here. So basically, it's named Korovka, and it's a kind of a toffee candy with a cow on the package.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I mean, it's Korovka because it's milk based. Toffee is milk
Yeah.
based.
Hmm.
So that we do have. The cookies we don't have. So
I figured they would
um,
not pay for a Russian brand.
yeah, because they were like, how can we do this without actually doing this? As in, like,
Yeah.
without paying money to use this. Um, Villanelle says that she's going to get back, like on one condition only. She's going to be a keeper, which Dasha says is higher than Konstantin and Dasha, because Konstantin and Dasha are handlers. So it looks kind of like this: agents, handlers, keepers. So far, 12 somewhere
Yeah.
here. Maybe there are different
I think
other
there's
stuff.
something there is somebody above the keepers. That is between the keepers
Thank
and
you.
the 12s. It's they're I think they're winging it with the 12, and
Yeah,
they're trying to avoid looking generic, but they're still very generic. It's just like every fucking James Bond movie. They're
yeah.
the shady organizations that are trying to control the world. It's very difficult to be original about that.
Listen,
So they're gonna
I
have to
I,
like,
I recently went to the movies to watch Kingsman, the third one,
oh, I haven't
which is a
seen.
prequel.
Yeah.
I laughed my ass off because um, they decided to go with the world domination plot, and apparently there was sort of like King's Arthur's type of table with all villains, and these villains are, wait for it. The main villain is some Scottish dude that actually doesn't exist, I suppose. Like, I believe. Um, the other people, some of them are Russian, and one of them is Rasputin. I the way I cackled at Rasputin, because it was something, and also Rasputin apparently was into guys. I don't know how they got to that. Like, Rasputin was known. Rasputin is like a very shady figure in Russian history, because no one really knows if he was a bit insane, or maybe like if he believed that he has powers, or if he was just very religious and that's why he believed that he has powers, or if he was just a poisoner and, like, knew all this kind of new chemistry, basically. um so, like, he's a very shady figure, and other countries love to, like, theorize about him, but this take was transcendent. Basically, what they have, like, this Scottish guy gave him a mission to Rasputin to make it so Russia doesn't participate in the war, because this way, like, the power is going to shift. And they went with a small team, and there's like a young guy there, and his father's like, "You're going to seduce Rasputin, basically, and bring him to this other room where we're going to poison him with a cake because he likes sweets." I don't remember that in our history classes, that he likes sweets. What I remember about Rasputin is like generic things, but also like some more in-depth things, such as like he had a very interesting relationship with the, like, royal family. They believed him. They thought he's like has this powers that were given him by God, because he was like um what are they called? In Russian, it's called a pop. It's like a religious person, um, like a church leader, and basically it was believed that it's a fact that he like consumed poison every single day to, like, to
Build
protect
up
himself
resistance.
from
Yeah.
being poisoned. It's a known fact that people consider him to be a healer, and people came to him to, like, do something, and he I think maybe put them in a like hypnosis type of situation because they said that they saw things and stuff. Maybe he poisoned them a little, drugs and stuff like.
Yeah.
But what they do, like, it's also known that he slept with a lot of women, that
Yeah.
he seduced a lot of women, because partly I think because of drugs, partly I think because he like it's kind of like fame chasing, as in like he's this figure and you're like this woman, whatever.
Maybe the guy had game. We
Maybe
don't
the guy
know.
had game. He was not hot. Um,
Definitely.
like he had a beard down to his stomach. Uh, not for me. Anyway, basically what they do is like Rasputin comes. First of all, he's weird. He's like part animal, part human. Comes to this party with two women that he's literally just almost boinking at the table. Which no, I don't think so. In that type of society, no. Uh, he's like, oh, I'm not attracted to this boy that you're trying to like give me. I'm attracted to his father, actually. And he's like, Daddy, let's go to this room together. And the guy, like the father, has a wound shot on his leg. And like he can't walk properly, basically. He's like struggles with it. And he's like, Rasputin is telling to this guy, I'm going to help you with your leg. And then you're going to help me, wink, wink. As in, what's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
This whole plot about him liking boys, mind-boggling to me. Maybe it's like because maybe it was like uh, a rumor or something and I just don't know about it, but paying so much attention to it was weird. So he's like trying to suck out the poison from the bullet with his mouth, literally.
Okay.
It's and it looks weird. It's not sexy, so you just understand. It's like
I
real
figured it didn't sound
real
very.
weird stuff. Real weird stuff. And this guy actually he puts him into some kind of hypnosis too. He tells him about their plan, stuff happens, whatever. All these people that came to eliminate him come into the room and he starts fighting them. And his fighting is incredibly interesting. First of all, somehow I don't know why people believe that Rasputin had this like fighting powers, that he was a kung fu enthusiast or something. But he was just like a religious person with some sway, And he's straight up doing ballet dancing and throwing knives around. And I'm like,
I don't know. They had to get creative or something. I don't know because like we don't. I don't remember ever hearing about him in like history classes here.
mhm.
Like I don't actually think we know a lot about Russia here in Mexico. Like education here is very easy, especially like history and things that like don't matter to the
Uh-huh.
government. So
Okay.
um
Okay.
literally like for half of my life the only thing I knew about him was from the
From the
movie
Anastasia cartoon. I fucking hate this cartoon.
I know
It's like
everybody
reality. What is it?
all of my friends had that song for their 15 años. Everybody. Like quinceañeras, everybody had that song. That song was iconic for my generation here, and we all love that fucking movie. And later on, when I started like going into true crime and everything, like I learned about like how they couldn't fucking kill him. But it's just like it's not that he was immortal or that he was powerful. It's just that the people who were trying to kill him, they were dumb, not very good at killing. That's it.
He was
And
also like he had connections and stuff. Like he wasn't like a simple person, you
yeah,
know.
so he was not an easy kill, but like, damn, they tried a lot of things, and I learned about that and that he was a man whore, and aside from
Well,
that, nothing. I knew nothing. I literally just learned about the actual like Anastasia uh from a documentary, and just like, oh, I have no idea where they got the fucking movie from, but fun times.
Yeah.
I think it's about as accurate as like Hercules talking about Greek mythology. So like nothing at all.
Okay. My middle school history teacher wrote a play about her explosion. It was so horny and bad.
Everybody's fucking obsessed with that song about him.
That's how her.
Russia's Love Machine or something. It's called
Oh.
the song.
Yeah.
That audio's everywhere in TikTok. It's just
I genuinely I'm sure, like, I'm 70% sure that 𝕊𝕆𝕀𝕸𝕃 modeled Darkling after him. Um,
ugh.
Many similarities.
Yeah. I get what you mean. It's just that I had like the brief mental image of like the long beard and gross
Rasputin
general appearance.
wasn't hot. I don't know. I think it's like one of those cases where people are like, but the animalistic masculinity, this kind of stuff.
He looks
I
crusty.
bet he smelled.
Yes.
Um, but basically, what happens next is they kill Rasputin, and they need someone else, some other villain, and the next villain is Lenin. And after I saw Lenin, I don't know, my soul left my body. It's just said that's enough. That's it. Goodbye. Goodbye. Good night and goodbye. I also really love when other countries are sort of like, they're all saying like, let's not glamorize monarchies, but every single time the story of Nikolai and his family like becomes a discussion, they're like, but it was so sad that they were murdered or something. They left the throne, like he decided to leave the throne, and everyone is like, and everyone is still kind of like, I don't know, there's like a weird, I don't know how to call it. Everyone is pro poor people, except when it's like a cute story about a royal family,
Yeah.
like they definitely could have just run to a different country. They just couldn't do it in time, and then they were murdered. But who knows how Russian history would have developed if they were not killed,
Yeah.
maybe it's
It's just,
like a rough thing to say, but like, we don't know what would have happened.
yeah. We luckily didn't have like that problem here with monarchies and everything, because we got rid very quickly of any resemblance of like royal families and everything here. It was like royal families from Spain. So when the revolution started and everything, everybody got kicked out, and then there was like straight up politics from then on. And still, like, not many people have like that love for politicians here, but there's still a few, like the current president. There's people that treat that motherfucker like he's some sort of savior or like a messiah,
Please.
and he's fucking delusional, and he fucking sucks. I cannot say enough how much this fucker sucks.
I
Just
don't
to,
wanna I don't want to wade in with how some people really love Putin, and I'm like,
it's just people get so weird about authority figures. It's weird, the like level of delusion they have over politicians sometimes. But just to like straight out tell how shitty the guy that's in power currently here is, he took the money for everything. He came up with a plan for austerity, just like, we have to be more careful with money of the country. He stole everything from the reserves. He stole everything from the what is it, like,
pension fund?
We have pension funds. We have like public health service. He stole the money for that. There was a hospital that was giving, instead of giving like cancer treatment to children, they were giving them water because
Wow.
they took the money for the medicine for the children with cancer.
Wow.
That's the level of shit I'm dealing with, and we are
Wow.
dealing with. And
Demonic. This is demonic vibes all around.
he took the pension for all the elderly people, and because they're gonna die anyway. That's according to him. And there's also like the homicides of women are extremely high. They chilled down because of the pandemic, but it's still extremely high.
Women just don't go outside, so they're not
they
murdered. Wow.
so, yeah, and he said that they were starting to make like very big like protests. He literally said, paraphrasing, these women need to stop being so emotional and calm down.
Yeah.
So
Worse. Makes sense.
he's
Makes all the
the crustiest cunt
But
that ever walked this earth. This part of the earth, I specify. So,
well, honestly, almost all politicians are the same.
yeah.
I think it's the type of person that is attracted to politics is also like a certain kind of person. They're like people that don't win elections are actually people that care usually.
Yeah.
You know?
I honestly God, nobody gets to a high like a high position being nice and being good and honest. So it's just like being a millionaire. Nobody becomes a millionaire without stepping on somebody's face. So
Yeah.
yikes.
As a French person, I do think that how the Russian monarchy is viewed internationally is so different. Yes, French royals were demonized so completely. I also just don't understand it. Human to human, I think they didn't deserve it. I think this also. If they left, they would have been okay. As in, like, if they would have left the country. But it's what happens when you get rid of monarchy, symbolic and political. You gotta go. That's like this is not an unusual outcome for monarchy. Honestly, it could have been like if they, for example, let's pretend they survived it. Who guarantees that we wouldn't have had a similar situation that UK has, for example?
Yeah.
So like monarchy that technically doesn't decide anything but is symbolic and exists for some reason, and that
makes no sense.
And that I think taxpayers kind of make them.
They pay for everything they have.
Yeah, kind of.
So
pay for their living and stuff.
They're literally.
I don't know. I can't claim that. I think so.
Yeah, they're basically leeches with jewels and a position. They don't do anything. So I like to this day I still don't understand why monarchies still exist in general.
I think
even the symbolic
monarchs. There's certain monarchs in Scandinavian countries that are literally like they just exist as regular people. You know?
That's true.
Like people know that they are the descendants, but like no one cares.
It's just people say that like half of American cinema is propaganda for like everything they do, like the military and everything, and it's true. Like cop shows are propaganda for the police, and etc., etc., etc. So there's also that thing about how fairy tales make people think weird shit about monarchies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's mainly fantasy and like fairy tales that make people believe that there is something romantic or elegant or divine about being like on the monarchy. And like especially like people still consume a lot of like fantasy and a lot of I can't say anything, my stories about monarchies, but and I hate that. It's weird, but I needed that setting.
It's a fantasy though. It's like
in fantasy it's fine, in historic fiction it's fine
of like something,
but again it's just to me monarchies make less sense than actual like democratic politics.
They make less sense because they survive. No, in different countries on different things, but like for example, in Russia, they survived on serfs. So basically, they owned people, kind of. It's not the same as slavery, but it's a similar concept because people had to, as in like they couldn't stop working. They had to pay certain. They were not free.
Yeah.
As in like they had to work a certain part of land. I think the American obsession with the Russian monarchy is because there was a USA woman who said she was Anastasia, where the movie's based off, and conned everyone, so the USA loved the princess. Yeah, I think so. The Spanish monarchy is quite liked because after the Franco dictatorship, the king was reinstated at Franco's wishes, and the king reversed all the fascist laws that reduced his own power. Okay. I mean, the different countries treat their monarchies and like monarchs differently or see them differently. There is a lot of reflection of Russian history recently, like on Russian TV, and I wouldn't say that the relationship with the Nikolai and his family is negative, really. Like people definitely mourn the fact that they were murdered, but I don't think anyone is like sad that the revolution has happened. You know?
Yeah. It's just this weird connection about loving a tragedy and trying to make there's this idea about romanticizing tragedy in general, that people turn these victims or these the victims of accidents, of disasters, of terrorist attacks, or everything, they turn them into a whole fucking fantasy of their own. They project a lot of stuff into them. So like I do get the interest. It is interesting. It's just the mourning them and being like, yes, but remember that was not still like, monarchies are not good.
There are actually still descendants of Russian royal families out there. They're just they never. I think they never lived in Russia. I think because we know that all royal families are intertwined, European specifically. Oh my god! Wait, I think the Americans are just obsessed with the Russian monarchy because they hate communism. I think maybe actually that's an interesting point.
Yeah. Probably. But again, like at least here we're not like that. There's few people that are still like very interested in like monarchies and everything, but it's all science fiction. Like I have never seen in somebody here that's just like, oh, we should have royal families or whatever.
They're democratic until their love of money and rich people takes over. Yes, I mean the Red Scare is like, I understand why it happened. I understand how disinformation works. Like, and I understand that point in history. It's just so interesting because it flipped so much in the recent years, and there's so many people that are like, yeah, we would like some social goods in America.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
I was going to say that at least there's the benefit, like there's not like any, if any, good portrayals of my country anywhere, like on media outside. So they usually just show the same dusty street with chickens and stuck in the 70s forever. And Tijuana, only Tijuana. And
other places don't exist.
Don't
the
exist,
limit doesn't exist.
Oh my god, the most offensive one recently was one of the Terminator movies.
Okay.
There was a scene where she's supposed to like live in Mexico City, and there's a desert in the mountains at the distance, and we're just like, you couldn't fucking read a map. We're not asking you to be accurate on anything else, but can you fucking read a map? Google Earth is free, my guy. Google is free. You don't even need somebody to tell you a reference. It's free. And none of the actors except one was Mexican. So again,
Makes a lot of sense.
since nobody pays attention to my country, at least I don't have people butchering the history of my country. We butchered it enough here. We're like 90% sure half of what the books say is not even true. But let's not pay that much attention to it. There's actually I don't know, I don't think it's the same if you uh listen it to like with subtitles or anything, but there's this show that it's called Drunk History.
Yeah.
Somebody made one of my country and it's delightful. It's just it gets weird. But it gets weird, but it's suspiciously more accurate than the history books that I read in school.
Okay.
So there's that. And there's also like a guy in TikTok that got very famous explaining Mexican history. Very cool. We don't even like learn. Oh, really? We don't know a lot of our own history because history here is shit. Like history
Censored?
classes, it's heavily like for instance,
Heavily edited?
yes, but
Mm.
like the way they treated the colonization of this country, it's
Mhm.
ridiculous. We were taught from like school to be grateful and loving of the Spanish invasion.
Okay, lovely.
Like there was the day of like a Columbus Day that we celebrated that he arrived to this country. I when I was a kid, I would color
This is
like
fucked.
images of what's his fucking name in English? Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
We would like paint pictures of him and the fucking boats they used to get here.
This is
Eh,
so weird.
yes, like up to the point where I was in high school, I think no, like middle school, they were teaching kids that the Spanish invasion was good and that we should like be grateful.
It's the same, like, it's so mind-boggling because it's like if we were taught to like love Genghis Khan or I don't know, Vikings.
It's yeah, and since they like up to this point, up to like what 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or less, they were teaching us that we should be grateful because oh, you got the language from Spain, and you got this and this
Okay.
and this from Spain. You should be grateful.
Didn't you have a language before that?
They had like it's just that there were many tribes that we
Sure.
don't know any, like for instance I don't know any of the languages that were like of indigenous people. People love to comment on how the US treats their native people, but I've heard no one say the way that Mexico treats their native people. It's
Mhm.
the same shit, nearly. It's just like the Spanish people killed. There was a massive genocide. There was an enslavement. Then there were like revolutions, but by then we were already very mixed with
Yeah,
the
I
Spain,
understand, of course.
with the Spaniards. So um, everybody's so mixed with everybody that came to invade Mexico that there's people that are black, there's people that have like Asian characteristics, and we don't know. People here don't like pay attention to that. Nobody really cares here about heritage. It's just like uh, we don't know who like what language we were supposed to know, if like our ancestors came from this tribe or this tribe.
Okay.
Nobody knows and nobody cares. All of that history got erased and it's just like you speak Spanish, that's it, and you're from this state and that's it. That is as much heritage as you get. So anybody that tries to like dig deeper, it's too far back, and registers here are not that good. So
Mhm.
it's just like we know nothing.
Okay.
We're taught about the different tribes that lived on what areas, we're told about the revolution, the independence, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But and all the mess that was there was a politician here that lasted like days, and there was another
Wow.
one that was like hours. He got
Wow.
killed right away. So we're taught all of that. We got rid of like the Spanish monarchy, everything fucking out,
Mhm.
and that's it. We don't really like know our roots or anything, and we
Mhm.
don't have a proper language of our own. Actually, many of the native languages are gone, and they're not taught in school.
If
And
there was no material like archives, material evidence, like stuff written down, of course, it would disappear.
there's people that are still like there's tribes that still exist, but they're extremely poor, and they're very limited to the areas where they live. There are many that are actually now protected as like a cultural, what is it, a cultural treasure, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I got it. Like,
There are many that are like preserved,
mhm.
or there are many people. But again, if you have a relation to any tribe, you may not know if your family didn't keep like languages are nearly gone. And since there's a lot of poverty on certain places, it's just how can I say it? People don't treat native people very well. It's actually like, for instance, if it was used to like very very recently as a derogatory term to be told you looked native,
Oof.
and actually like people in Mexico are very very racist, and they don't understand or they don't care because like that's something white people do, not us.
Okay, okay.
So people say very racist things very casually, like
Sure.
on black people, on Asian people, or
Mhm.
what else, in general they're not like very conscious about all the races or anything. But again, the education of the world here in our very own culture is very very like,
Poor.
yes. For instance, if they told us, I don't know, I go somewhere, they are having a party, and just like dress as something of your country, like a traditional dress of your country,
Mhm.
I would be throwing a fucking blank. I'll be like,
So you like don't
I,
have traditional clothing.
mm, usually, for instance, when there's the party for the independence or the revolution,
Mhm.
there's the Adelitas. There's you've probably seen it. It's just like the braids. They wear like white blouses and long skirts, and sometimes because they were very involved in the revolution, you had like the belts with bullets, and that's it.
Mhm.
And then there's, because like mariachis is something else. So there is traditional outfits for the states. For instance,
Okay.
here where I live, it's made of like cow leather, tan colors, white. Uh,
Mhm.
it has like this like very traditional like cowboy look that has like this like strips
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
leather hanging
Yeah,
from.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's it. And I have never worn that outfit for school ever.
Okay.
Like for school, at best, I wore that like the white blouse and the skirts, but that was like from what 1920, a little bit further back. So
So it's
like
not
to go,
really.
it's not really traditional. So you can go by state. Every state has. There's a lot of people, actually have some friends that like travel around the world with that, of folkloric dance. That is as much heritage that I have seen, and still it's not like that traditional. And it's kind of, you're going to learn that regardless of what your heritage is. You
Sure.
could be from another fucking tribe, you could be fully from like Spanish ancestors and you still learn it, and just like because you live here. Like if I was technically born in another state, and I was moved here, and it's just like I've lived here most of my life, so I wore the or I supposed to should learn the heritage of like this state because I was here, not because I have an actual root here. So roots are fucking lost here. We don't, unless like again, unless your family is like very diligent at keeping record, who the fuck knows?
So it's kind of like you scraped everything that is still kind of remembered and shared with everyone. Like
yes,
everyone is.
It's kind of like
It's a global.
we ended up with something vaguely Mexican. Because again, we had like this identity crisis where it's the natives from the area, then the Spanish. So many things come from what we learned from like the Spaniards. And then there is this mix because that was part of the colonization. It was to intentionally mix as much as possible the natives with the Spanish. And then other countries came to invade. We had people from France. We had people from Italy. We had people from Japan. We had people from, oh, there were a lot of people from like Arab people. I'm sorry, I forgot how to pronounce it in English. How to say it? That's actually, they settled a lot in the north.
You mean the Ottoman Empire? No.
Yeah, I can't remember.
They're Turkish.
Well,
they're Turkish now.
It's just that
all the bigs, they were there.
Middle East people from the Middle East that came here. So it like everybody in the world came over here.
Do you see this?
No.
One of my lamps is just
flickering.
Yeah. And it's annoying. There was a different lamp that was flickering for a while, and then it changed. And like this one lights up properly, and then this one is flickering all the time.
Maybe it's the light bulb.
Maybe it's just finding. Maybe it's just not choosing people to work. It's like choosing people that take a bit less for their work. That's the issue, I think.
What was
yeah, you said that it's
oh my god, I lose that train of thought.
It's melting pot. I got it.
Yeah, so roots here, no idea. And so again, like when luckily they've never tried to like explain history to other countries, like make movies about Mexico.
Okay. I mean, I bet there is like, I hope most countries have, like we have, international history, it's called.
Yes.
So you kind of get told about every country a little bit.
Selective. Like here we have something that is called universal history.
Okay.
Universal. It is just like world history. And it was like we were like all the revolutions that France had, that the French had. Revolutions. Then there was, we only talk about Germany for World War II.
Yeah.
And Russia, because the issues that Russia and the US and all that.
Okay.
And I don't think we ever even like got into the First World War. It was just the second one.
Wow. They're like,
really,
it was such a long time
There was
ago.
a mess. Yeah, there was a mess, and then there was another mess. Okay. And then these two, they were fighting, and then this one also got into the fight.
But they got over it.
They got over it, and then this guy got into a crisis, and then this guy, they fought with this guy, and then like this guy owed money, and this guy borrowed money. That
Okay.
so
Right.
again, you try to ask an adult here about history of the world in general, even history of our own country, and they're gonna be like, and then this guy did this, and it fought with that guy, and there was like a big mess, and then they settled, and it was cool. It were cool. So, but then again,
Like,
I had a mismatch of private schools and public schools,
okay.
and also a very short attention span. So maybe
Maybe you just
somebody
didn't
else learned
listen.
a bit better.
Maybe you
It's just
just didn't listen.
in high school, the very weird high school I was in, we had an entire like semester about history. I learned in that semester everything that I didn't learn the entirety of my other education. And in college, again, we had like a brief space for history. It's just like, thank you. It took me, honest to God, me and everybody in my class, it was not until college that we learned that Mexico participated in World War II. We didn't know.
Okay. Okay.
Nobody fucking knew. It's just like, we thought we were not even involved. I thought we were just chilling here.
But
We
I
didn't know.
mean, you do have grandparents and stuff.
Well, not me,
Oh, okay.
but
My
and actually, part of my family's like on my dad's side was military, and I still didn't know we
didn't know that.
participated in World War
Okay.
II.
Okay.
So,
Big brain.
in
Just
and yeah,
big
my
brain move.
what is it? My great grandfather was like on the Air Force that participated in the war. And I didn't fucking know. There's also this
My
thing where if you don't ask, they don't tell you. So it's just like, Dad, why didn't
hours
you
tell
tell
you.
me? Why didn't you tell me?
Hours
He's
tell
like, you
you,
never
and they
asked.
show you all the medals that they got. My maternal grandfather was, well, he was in Republic of Moldova, but he was in, like, he was fighting in the Second World War. Survived it. Didn't even get any like wounds or anything. Was very lucky. I don't know how to switch the topic because it seems very serious, but it's 2 hours 30 minutes right now, and we are in the middle of the first episode.
We always go on a
I mean,
really fucking long
it
tangent.
got real serious today, which
Yes.
I don't mind if someone watches it and
It's
figures
it's
something
it's
out.
it's a cultural exchange.
Yeah. Uh, Kenny has a new job.
Yes. As
He
a
works as an investigative journalist at
yeah.
some kind of a magazine. And apparently he loves football, which was very unexpected for me because his colleague talks about um I don't know what it's called. It's like quizzes, like
Yeah,
quiz
trivia night or something
trivia
like that.
nights. Yeah, and they needed him for their team because he knows about football. And I'm like, this guy doesn't look like a guy that knows about football. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
but
stereotypical.
oh,
It's
maybe he
stereotypical
was just
thinking.
like something he did with his dad. Like the British
I
like
don't know.
soccer, I think. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
don't
I
know
get it.
why. It seems like a very bland and stupid game, but whatever.
Also, they took it from us, and
Oh, okay.
it's a lot more exciting here. But who knows? I actually don't
Sure.
like it either. It is also like fucking a religion to love soccer here. It's a thing. Also, back with like all that Dasha was negotiating with Villanelle.
Yeah.
Honestly, as much as I love Villanelle, as much as I adore her, as much as she's the best for me, I have no fucking idea why the 12 are going this fucking far to keep her. It makes no sense to me. She's good, but she's like not exceptionally good. She's not like, I'm gonna like do a heist on a high level security somewhere and get out with it. She's not like that expert. She kills. That's it. So the idea that the 12 are struggling to replace her seems really off to me.
We actually don't know how many kills she's very efficient. Maybe she is very quick about it. Maybe she's like not complaining. We don't know how other people work, you know?
Yeah.
So
It
maybe
just seems
her body count is so high and people rarely figure out that this death was intentional. So
maybe. It just seems a little bit far-fetched to me that out of the entire world they
sure.
can find anybody to replace her.
She's
Like,
special.
yes, she's special to us.
My French family was military in that era and they never shut up about it. Yeah. My grandfather got a medal for fighting the Nazis. The grandma's boyfriend, my granddad, was enlisted in the German. Oh. Is he like, did he like bail? Or is he, you know, how does the family cope with that? Just interesting. Poor
I
Kenneth.
can
Kenneth
imagine the
is
Christmas
a
dinners were
ridiculous
interesting.
name. Yeah. Pop quizzes in British Stadium.
Oh.
Yeah. So okay. Blah blah blah. Kenny covertly researches about the 12. He doesn't have any articles, and
He
he's been working there for a while.
Yeah, he figured out that the accounts that were on what was his name?
Something something. I don't care. Honestly, don't care about that part of the
Well,
plot.
he
I was
found
like,
out
he
that
was researching the 12, and he
yeah,
got
and that some
something
accounts
out of
were
it.
active out of dead people. So
Yeah.
and I knew the second that he said he was researching something about the 12, I knew he was going to die. Sweet boy.
Eve also has
He
a new job. Sorry,
yeah,
I'm trying to speed through.
yeah. She has the job at the Chinese
In the
restaurant,
restaurant.
Korean
Yeah.
restaurant, sorry.
Korean restaurant, yeah.
And
Korean
she's
restaurant.
just like full of dumplings. And
And she's annoyed by these two chef guys at the back yapping about their
she
love
makes
lives.
the guy
Such a
cry.
grump. She's such a grump.
Yes. And Kenny tries to. She gets very drunk and calls, sends a text to Kenny when she like sees the
Toilet
roll
paper,
of
I
toilet
love
paper.
so much.
That was
And
yes,
at first I was like, why toilet paper? And then I remembered the joke about the toilet paper.
yes. And Kenny goes to visit her. He tries to like get her back on the investigation. He's like, "Hey, I researched this about the 12, and
She's
there's
like,
still something going on." And she's like, "No, you're not going to drag me back." And all of that. And I think, I don't know if this in this episode or the other one that she visits Nico.
I think it's second episode. The thing is, what was also interesting for me, not interesting, it's something that I wanted to point out, is that Kenny gets into her house and gets into her apartment and it's unlocked. She's like, I don't care about my safety. I think it says something about her mental state that she's like,
Yes,
whatever.
doesn't care. Yeah,
Maybe she's expecting someone to like barge in and she wants to kill them or something.
probably.
And then say that it's like, it was an accident. He attacked me.
Probably. That video that it's just when you're looking for somebody breaks in and you've been looking for an excuse to go mental your whole life. There's a video of that in
Second
Instagram, I think.
granddad fell into a hole, broke his arm, and got discharged. Oh. He came along after my biological granddad died of illness. I never knew him, only the second one. Wasn't a great asset to Germany. Okay, so he was like, I'm gonna...
Yeah.
I was afraid he would get shoved out too. Okay. Could have happened, but we know who did it. Diane doesn't know who did it. I think she watches as we go. So we're not going to spoil it. We're going to about it. so basically what happens also is Konstantin is choosing a present for his daughter. I just want to ask you, do you think that he was actually choosing a present for his daughter, or this whole thing where he gave a magnet to, what was her
Geraldine,
name? Geraldine, was intentional? Like, did he know
probably.
beforehand
Yeah,
that,
I don't think he was going to
did
give
he like
anything to her
calculate this whole thing from the start, or no?
because he was
If
already
he
staying there in the
calculated,
mission.
if he calculated this whole thing from the start, he's double an asshole, I think.
Yeah, I think yeah, because
Yep, I don't know. No spoilers, please.
got it. So he was trying his assignment probably was to keep an eye on Carolyn,
Carolyn.
but Carolyn was like not no longer like letting him in after like all the mess they went through. So he had to look for another way in. And
Yeah. And Geraldine was so eager to
yeah,
give him a leeway, like to give him to let him
she
in.
she took the entirety of the emotions that that family had.
Mhm.
She took it all. She's
Yeah.
just like every emotion they don't have, she does have it.
When she
To the
said that she's an
time.
empath, when she said that she's an empath at the
She said
funeral,
something else, like
something about empathy,
hyper empathy.
empath. When she said
So
that, I think all my red flags, just like all the alarms in my head, started screaming. When people say that they're empath, please take me away.
out, yeah.
Out. Just no.
Uh,
Um, Dash's day job apparently is teaching gymnastics to little girls.
yeah.
The 12 say no about the position that 𝕊𝕆𝕀𝔸𝕃 wanted, and instead they want to give her, like, they give her a new head. Basically,
Oh
they're
yeah,
like, prove yourself, bitch.
yeah. Like let's start slow. She does this assignment to kill a woman that is was like
A
rebel of some sort.
political something, a political
Uh,
organizer, I think, or
yeah,
activist.
activist, yeah. So she goes there to the store. This is a very nice store about like with spices and stuff.
Yes,
And
really cute.
they
And she murders this woman the same way Dasha murdered this guy
and yeah,
at the start of the episode. Which
it
honestly, I don't get this type like of murder. Like, I just what it's supposed to symbolize.
I
Who
don't know, but it
knows?
actually makes sense if the person is still unconscious and you drop that much dust into their
Okay,
face, they're going to breathe it in and choke.
suffocate. Okay,
Yes. So it's like
I
an
didn't think about this.
overkill in case the person is still alive because I think the first guy that Dasha killed was still alive when she poured
Hmm.
the like
Yeah, because she just
the
knocked him
chalk
out a little
on
bit.
him.
Hmm.
And but the woman that Villanelle killed, I'm pretty sure she was already
She
dead by
was
then. But
dead. Yeah.
that she
After
just
that,
did that last
yeah,
one for aesthetics.
she fell from the stairs and was still alive,
Yeah,
which was weird.
yeah. Well,
Well, I
it
guess
was not
not
that
weird.
high. She speaks a little bit of Spanish and something else. There's a few other languages that are spoken in Spain.
In Spain,
Catalan and something else.
Catalan is like French and Spanish next.
And there's another one. I can't. Basque, something like that.
Maybe, I don't know. I
In
was in
Spanish, we say
Catalonia.
Basco, I think.
Maybe, I don't know.
I saw that. I saw an entire movie of that language, and I still can't
Okay.
remember. But there's just like she speaks a mixture of the both. So the little Spanish she got, okay, I guess.
Okay.
And then the other language, well, I cannot say anything for that.
Okay.
She just does the kill, leaves it,
It's
as a
fine.
competition. It's just petty competition with okay,
She
got it.
looks cute with short hair.
Yeah, she looked great. Um,
Yeah, you
uh,
were correct.
got it.
And
Thank
now the
you.
dialects. Okay.
Um,
Um,
what else?
Konstantin gets a call into his,
Uh,
like, I think he's in a hotel or something.
yeah,
And the guy on the phone actually sounds very Russian. Like, no accent, pure Russian.
They finally found somebody.
I think it's easier to find a voice maybe than a person. Who
Probably.
knows? His daughter also complains about her mom's new boyfriend, and it's important because mom's new boyfriend is going to be important for the plot.
Yeah.
Kenny gets into Eve's house, blah blah blah. We talked about it. Kenny and Carolyn have a passive-aggressive fight about the previous season and stuff that happened in the previous season. They kind of make up at the end, and he goes to the magazine. Listen, I'm so paranoid. I'm just going to say it. I'm a paranoid person in general, but I'm so paranoid. The way she grumbles in the background. I'm so paranoid about the last conversation that you have with a person that is going to die. As in, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Sometimes sometimes I meet someone and I'm getting paranoid that it's our last meeting. And I'm like, did I do everything so that I won't regret it? You know what I mean?
I actually had this it was a bit of a problem when I was little. I had like this huge anxiety of my parents dying
To still
or
have
like
it.
my friends, like my especially like my siblings and my parents. And
Mm-hmm.
I still can't shake it off. I still have this
Still
anxiety,
have it.
like kind of intense. So there is not as bad as when I was a kid, but still there. So I always made it a habit, at least with my family, to like always just like I love you, you're the best, love you lots. Even if I was just like they called me like, hey, you want something from like the supermarket or anything? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this thing and this thing. Thank you, love you lots. Because of that, because I was afraid that just like I don't want my last conversation with my dad to be
Yeah,
I don't know about
a
what
fight.
kind of bread we needed for the house, or like the last thing to say to my sister is just like, haha, fuck you, bitch. Even if it's
Yeah.
like the way we talk, I still like a little bit paranoid about it. So I always notice that on movies and everything. It's just like, damn, and that is the
I think
last thing
I
he
think they made
said.
us paranoid actually. Like
Yeah.
all this stuff, like with their foreshadowing and stuff.
There was the build up to Kenny's death.
Yeah,
Still, ouch. I was hoping
yeah.
not. I was hoping something else might happen, or that he wasn't really dead, or
Uh,
just hoping for anything. But
Nico
it's just like,
Nico is actually in this episode because I have a note about it. Nico's in the
yeah,
mental health institution, in the mental health institution. Eve visits him. Nico says basically he deserves more than Eve. And I'm like, that's debatable actually. But okay. Uh my phone corrected Nico to Nicole. And it's like Nicole says he deserves more than Eve. And I'm like, okay, maybe.
maybe the world is trying to tell you that you deserve something better than Eve.
Okay, I don't have any Eves in my life.
But just in case.
Okay, so Kenny's murdered and Eve finds him, and it's very traumatic. Like it's super traumatic to find a person, especially just not just dead from. I don't finding a dead person in general is traumatic, especially if
Yeah.
it's someone that you love, someone that you
Yeah.
know, and stuff. But I think when the implication is that it was a suicide, especially,
Yeah.
and the implication is strong with this one because he literally jumped
Uh-huh.
from the building.
Um, I'll be right back. I will leave you with my baby. I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
Carry on with the
Yeah,
the,
I'm
the,
going to
the
start
explanation of the
with
show.
episode 2. Yeah. Okay.
Very
So episode 2 starts with the funeral. Actually, like I discovered while I was watching, I'm so tired of people dying on screen. Maybe I'm just not in the mood for dramas and stuff, but like seeing them all at the funeral was so just gloomy and like I don't know, just not even sad. I was just tired watching it. Oh my god. She decided that she doesn't want to sleep anymore. Maybe she will come here. Look at her go. Oh no. No. Hi. Hi. She doesn't hear me. Okay. So we're at the funeral. There are a lot of people. I think half of them actually don't know Kenneth, which apparently is his name. And most of them, I think, maybe are Carolyn or his father's friends, something. Um, Eve is pissed off and drunk and already, and she meets Kenny's boss. At first, I was like, this scene is so weirdly coded. Maybe I watched too many romantic comedies, but at first I was like, are you introducing a new love interest for Eve? The dog is a cat. He just likes to sleep. Yeah, he's very like it's a she. She's very sleepy. I think it's a girl. Um, so basically, at first I was like, is Kenny's boss going to be Eve's love interest? Is she going to just sleep with him once? Is it going to be a one night stand? Like the way they just presented him, he also is attractive, I guess. Some men are attractive. And also, Diane, you have not seen other episodes, but they're going to have more interactions, and there it's not a big spoiler, there is interaction with them where they are uh, alone together in a room, and it's pretty cozy, and I'm like, are they going to have sex now? What's happening? So I was like, okay, I don't know how to feel about that. um she's also like she's introducing herself to his colleague, the guy, and his ex-girlfriend. Apparently one of the colleagues in the magazine was his ex-girlfriend. And also a very important detail is that when she found Kenny, she also confiscated his phone. So she has a phone, his phone, it's locked, and she's not planning to give it to the police because she wants to like unlock it herself to figure out what to do with it. Basically, she's a bit like, she's definitely traumatized, grieving, but at the same time kind of wants to avenge him. Avenge him. Um Carolyn, Carolyn, Car- Carolyn. Oh my god. I just short circuited for a second. Carolyn seems unfazed. She's very much let's get through the motion. So
Yeah.
uh
She's I'm distracted because she's digging in
let
my
her
bed.
be. She just wants to find a cozy place.
Oh my
Um
god.
or maybe she wants to poop. I don't know.
Oh
Cats do this
no.
when they want to poop. Um so basically, the most important parts about the funeral is that Eve meets Kenny's colleagues, ex-girlfriend, his boss, which for some reason I thought is coded as romantic interest at first. I was like, are they going to sleep together?
Yeah,
What's happening?
I also thought they had something more in
Yeah,
mind for that character.
yeah.
And in the end it's just like mm,
They give them some scenes together later, which
yeah.
there's one that I'm like especially suspicious of, but nothing happens. It's a spoiler, but it's not a spoiler because who cares? Um, Diane is going to murder us. Also, she has like a message for you, which is that.
My baby. Yeah, she's finally apparently she got cozy.
Yeah.
Finally. Baby.
The second important thing is that Eve has Kenny's phone and she's not giving it up. She
Yeah.
doesn't plan to give it to the police. Carolyn seems unfazed. Everyone thinks he's jumped, apparently. Like, everyone is confident that it's a suicide. Um, Eve is the only one that is like, this is not a suicide, I'm pretty sure. Especially because she knows that he was investigating. They met in
Yeah.
the first episode and discussed that, so Geraldine, we're introduced to Geraldine, who actually is an actress who played a very, very different role in Game of Thrones. So it was very like she's a very good actress because in Game of
Yeah.
Thrones she played this tough
Yeah, I think I
character.
saw, like, my sister was watching it in the
Yes,
kitchen and I saw a scene of hers. It took me a moment to realize it was the same person, just like,
yeah, two
damn.
completely different people.
Yeah.
Geraldine is this spiritual, emotional, uh, this type of girl.
Geraldine
This type of
is
girl.
Geraldine to me is like the Nico for the
Yes, but no.
for
They have
Caroline.
different personalities.
Yes, no, but in the way that they would technically seem far more normal than the main characters, but since we're so used to characters being
Yeah.
weird, they are the ones that seem the weirdest because they don't fit with the rest of the cast. So she's so weird
She's
with
so
her
in touch.
mom,
She's so in
but
touch with her emotions that it's annoying.
yes,
She also apparently has history with Constantine, not a creepy history. He was, well, depends on the context.
eh,
Um,
yeah,
Constantine knew her as a child because he was a frequent guest at Caroline's parties, and it's at one point Geraldine had a nightmare and he calmed her down. Also taught her how to curse in Russian. Um, the curse was real.
important knowledge,
Yeah.
yes.
Um, iconic lines. Can we be sad and listen to decent music? My favorite. Um,
Yes.
when Geraldine, Carolyn complained that the music is too sad and bleak, and Geraldine is like, it's the space to grieve, like it's communal space to grieve, and that's why like the music is like that. She's like, bitch, can we be sad and listen to decent music? Villanelle gets in the meantime. Villanelle gets a new house, or should we just discuss what happens at the funeral? Like, just
Well,
wrap it
it's
up.
just that some like
It's not
a
very
coworker,
interesting. Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
Yeah, a
It's just
coworker
like
is
everyone is
dying.
acquainted. Finally, is acquainted with everyone. The girl that was dating
Kenny.
Kenny is crying.
She's the only one that seems to be in a
Yeah,
funeral,
grieving. Yeah.
and
And both Carolyn and Eve. I think they either both figured out that she was dating Kenny or something. Like
yeah,
they understood that there was a connection at some point.
yeah, because
And
of how she was crying at the funeral,
yeah.
and Eva was trying kind of to avoid Carolyn.
Yeah, but she couldn't at the end.
Yeah,
And they have a bit of a tiff at the door. The funny bit that they do throughout this whole thing is that Eve is so drunk she doesn't know how to open a door. Uh, peak
yeah,
peak wine mom realness.
exactly.
She just doesn't know how to open a door, and she talks with Carolyn for a little bit and asks her if she believes that Kenny jumped. Gets kind of a muddled answer and leaves in a huff.
Just a
And
big
then actually
no,
that
don't
actually
let.
goes to a different bar to drink more. I
Yeah,
think.
but there's this moment where she was like at the door, just like no, no. It just reminds me of how we say no to the dogs when they're trying to eat something they shouldn't. It's just like that's just how we scold the dogs. That's it. It's just like
Hmm.
no, don't, no,
Hmm.
and that's it. It's just I found that extra funny in that scene, and just
Um,
that no very firmly. She goes to drink. She takes the phone with her.
yeah,
She's
and it
trying
starts
to.
calling. Yeah, the phone
She tried
starts
to
calling.
unlock it, but she can't figure out the password. She tried the
Yeah,
obvious ones, of course, like
yeah. Her
000,
she
111, 1234.
attempted to do she attempted to type in passwords she would use, which are not
Yeah,
good. And we know that.
yeah, from
um,
like what season one, that it was like, what is your password? 1234.
basically, Kenny's boss calls the phone because he suspects that someone took it, and he recognizes her voice. He asks her to come. She's kind of a bitch about it, but she comes. They talk about Kenny's work a little bit, and I think she confesses about the 12 that they exist. I don't remember. Something happens there.
Yeah. She's it's about what Kenny was trying to investigate, and
Mm-hmm.
but she's like trying to hold back the information,
Yeah.
and they are trying to hold back the information,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
not wanting to cooperate, but they're like the phone is going to stay blocked
yeah,
unless you let us open it. So
yeah.
let us help. Uh,
Um, Villanelle gets a new house.
very pretty.
Her dress pattern is atrocious.
Yeah, it is.
The water pressure is great, apparently. They have lunch with Dasha. Villanelle checks out the girlies. Um, and
A
there's
very nice
like,
neighborhood,
yeah,
apparently.
yeah, she's very
Good
into
selection.
it. She checks out some young brunette.
The
Um,
advice from Tasha. It's good to
Winners
have
win
many
alone.
lovers. They keep you. What is it? What does she say? They
Instructed,
keep you
instructed.
nimble. Wait. My battery. Yeah.
Young and limber, something like
Yes.
that. A
Uh.
proper gymnast.
Exactly.
Um, what she also says is winners win alone, which now I honestly don't know why she killed the guy in the first episode.
And he distracted her.
It's because winners win alone, you think?
Yeah. He distracted her. I think that was it.
I think she was
Uh.
just angry and she was
Yep.
like,
Taking it out on the guy.
you're just a good victim. Um, Villanelle immediately says that she dealt with it and she no longer thinks about Eve. But Dasha knows that something is wrong. She's like, get over it, bitch. Um, and they talk about what Villanelle wants from the 12, and they decided that they want to check if she has leadership qualities. So they want to give her a trainee. That guy is
Felix.
is fucking hilarious. He's just hilarious to me, and I
Yeah.
actually was sad when she killed him
Yeah, me too.
because
Back in the day in Tumblr, again, people were having high fucking expectations of this thing. So
oh,
when like the trailer, people thought Villanelle being married was going to be like a big thing. It wasn't. And
mhm.
then they saw Felix, and they were immediately, oh, this is their child. They're going to adopt him. He's going to be like the
Villanelle adopting a child, haha.
yes, he's going to be like the I don't know the Abigail of the show, or
Sure.
that he's
Mhm.
going to be the child that put together
Please.
Eve and Villanelle. People were making a whole
It's
fucking story in their heads.
it's universally known that Villanelle hates children.
Yes, but like again, if you many people like hate small children, but it's like okay,
Sure.
maybe you can adopt a teenager or
Mhm.
something. There were there are many people expecting more, especially when the character started like sharing a lot of his story. It's just like,
Mhm.
damn kid, you were more developed than some of these other characters, but okay.
Also, like I think they put him for the storyline because she's like we need to see that she's a bad leader, but also like for funny and also to move the plot, move the like discussion along about her and missing Eve, because she can't tell it to Dasha obviously, and they like talk about Felix's ex, how he killed all these people for his ex boyfriend, ex crush. I don't know. Was he a
Yeah,
boyfriend?
I don't know.
So he's like, he's also like trying to man up so much. He's like, I'm a man, as in like, I killed all these people. I'm a bad guy.
They
And she's
were in
like,
the same car.
okay, dude. She's like, you're so embarrassing.
I loved him. Ah.
I I felt bad for
Too
him.
fast. At least he was a character for like half a season. Come on, they killed him too fast, especially because like everybody at the journalist office, at Kenny's work, I could not care less for any of them,
Yeah, they're boring.
and they're very like they just I don't know needed somebody to be there, I guess, and they were completely useless. I would have preferred to have Felix more time. I
Felix
loved
was funny
him.
to me. I also there is like he talks about he killed everyone for this guy, and he's like, and she was like, okay. He was like, they were in the same car. The way I love about this. Also, it's the first time in this 2 episodes, Villanelle actually looks good. This
With the blue dress.
simple summer dress,
That
not
that
an irritating pattern.
that blue dress reminded
Yeah,
me of the one that she had on her the first kill we see in Italy of the guy with the hairpin that she
no,
stole the dress
that
from the.
that one was long and streamlined, and this one was a little bit puffy and like
Yeah, yeah.
had a bit of
But it,
water.
it, it reminded me of like on the collar and the like the neck
Oh, okay.
cut, everything. It reminded me a little of that dress, and she looks really good. I think it was the. Oh yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right. It was different.
Uh, the important thing that they talk about actually is that it's painful when you do something for someone you love and they don't appreciate it. She immediately is like, he's like angsty about his boyfriend or whatever, and she's like immediately time to be sad about Eve
Yeah.
mode. She also tells him that she's a big deal in this industry, and I'm like, please, oh my god, you, you why Villanelle is like that, and that he needs to do everything that she tells him, whatever. And their mission is to kill a dude at a children's party, and they go as clowns.
How
Honestly,
many kids? How many kids
wanted
got like
that.
phobia of clowns thanks to her scaring them?
Listen, clowns are in general are
Creepy.
scary,
Yeah.
creepy. Yeah, like you don't need any. You don't need any um frame of reference. Like you don't need a frame of reference to think that clowns are scary. Like this whole get up is scary to me. I think maybe
I
not only to me.
I watched the movie It
I
when I
didn't.
was very little. The one in the 90s. When I
Okay,
was very little, because my siblings left me alone, locked up in
of
the
course,
living room, and they took
lovely.
the remote. So I watched the entire fucking movie and was traumatized.
Your
But
siblings are so kind.
of course, I did similar things to them. It's just love. But
Mm.
funny enough, as fucking terrified as I was of that fucking clown, I was not scared of clowns in general. I was just scared of that clown
I
specific.
I'm not scared of clowns. I just don't think they're funny, or I really want to look at them. Like I don't want to look at
Yeah, it's
them.
just that this weird, like, no, instant
It kind of,
mistrust.
yeah, it kind of triggers like I don't remember what it's called, but like uh
Apparently, it's
uh
uncanny valley.
something when like when you see something that looks human but is not human.
It's uncanny
It's like,
valley.
yeah, the
It's called
uncanny
that.
valley.
It's I didn't know that the weird feeling about clowns fell into that category until later that
Mm-hmm.
I saw like a brief like documentary on that, and it's just like for me it clowns don't bother me, like the makeup and everything. Sometimes I even like it when people do it well, especially like very vintage looking clowns, not the classic like
Mm-hmm.
big broad gestures,
Mm-hmm.
everything. uh, but what does trigger that for me is CGI. Like those
Oh, okay.
CGI movies that are like completely animated, or the new
Mm-hmm.
video games. The
Mm-hmm.
new video games that are so like realistic, they're almost like
weirdly.
real,
Yeah.
they freak me out. I can't watch it. Anything that it's purely CGI with humans, I
Hmm.
can't fucking watch it. It freaks me the fuck out just to see it. And I
Right.
don't remember something that was just like a video game, something my brother had that I would walk in to his room, see the screen, and like, nope, no thanks.
I'm out.
He's like, but it's nothing. It's just like they're just talking and like, they're freaking me the fuck out. No. And
Okay.
I just, but many kids were definitely traumatized about clowns after Villanelle scared them. I would have liked, since we had time to waste at the start of the season. I would have
Yeah.
liked at least like an episode, like a montage. Like we got snippets of Villanelle doing different missions on the first seasons. I would have liked her to
More of
have at
that.
least 4 or 5 missions with Felix before she kills him, instead of just like on the first.
I think it was intentional because they were like, let us show you that she's just a bad leader and she cannot, uh, like, at all delegate. Like,
Yeah,
the moment something went wrong, she immediately, like, went there.
yeah,
Like, she didn't give him time to figure it out himself. But also, the guy was not murder material. He was not good for this job, honestly.
yeah.
Like, it was
But
clear.
yeah, but still, I would have liked more like Villanelle and Felix adventures.
I mean,
That
he's
would
cute.
have been
He's cute.
fun.
Yeah, I liked him. So what else is going on? What else? What else? I don't.
Um,
Carolyn meets this girl that Kenny was dating, and
yeah,
they talk a little bit about Kenny, and this is actually the moment where we finally see that she cares for Kenny,
yeah,
and because she opens up a little bit to this girl, and is like, it's obvious that she's worried that she was too strict with him, and like maybe like failed him as a parent a
mother.
little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, but actually this girl is like, she's so cute. She was like, sometimes being a little strict helps. She's like, my
yeah,
mother was very like, do whatever,
yeah,
and I wasted my time. I think
and
partly she says it to like console her.
yeah. Also, I because I just randomly checked my notes. This is the first episode where we have an intro. We didn't like all the previous seasons. We just had the title card for Killing Eve, with a
Yeah.
little like drop falling from one of
You
the
mean
letters.
previously?
Yeah, in previous episodes, but this time we
Do
actually
you
have an intro with like a
maybe
song and everything.
I am
At least
confused.
the version that I have on like my
I
computer has
am
an intro.
confused. I'm not
It's a
sure that
little
is
bit.
true. I need to check it.
This season is remember that
Oh,
they changed I don't know, owners, like it's not owners.
you mean
Uh
channels?
yeah, they changed channels, and I think by this season they actually gave them an intro for the show.
I had no
It's just
idea that they
it's
did that.
just the title cards with the names of the actors, and it has like drops of I don't know,
Oh,
ink.
yeah, yeah,
That
that
is
that was
that
a
is
thing.
just
I
the
actually
whole.
thought that it's like a Russian thing because I'm watching on like a Russian streaming service. I thought they
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
added
they
it.
did it. It's just that it's so weird that on a third season they give you an
They were
intro
like,
after
let's do it
2 seasons
properly
of no
now.
intro. I that was a little extra, but it's fine, I guess. Um,
Um, so she talks
what
a little
else?
bit with this girl. She like really wants to figure out what was his mood like, if he was happy,
Yeah,
because I don't think she believes that he jumped, but at the same time, there is doubt there. She's like, maybe he jumped.
I think also that she realized that she didn't really know what was up with him at that
Hmm.
time. They were relatively close, but they never really had like conversations. Like, how about like, how are you feeling? Are you happy? Are you okay?
I mean, he didn't tell. Do you know what I heard? He's like, "Are you?" You said, um, are you happy? Are you gay? And I'm like, what? That
Are
came
you
out
okay? I meant
out of a left
okay.
field. I mean, he didn't tell her about his girlfriend.
Yeah.
He didn't really tell her much about his work and stuff. So they weren't that close.
She was trying to get like the pieces she was missing from the
Yeah.
story, and she was like really struggling with like trying to grieve but not trying to hold back
Yeah, it's
grief.
like at work also everyone is like, we're so sad that you like lost your son and stuff. And we even have a scene where she eats in the car because she doesn't want to go to work and she doesn't want to go home because Geraldine is there. And I'm like,
So she's like, they don't let me work well
yeah.
because she comes into a meeting. Everybody's shocked
Mhm,
that she's there.
mhm.
She gets into like this thing with
Her
her new
boss.
boss, and
I love
she's
that we
like,
always do this. Her boss.
yeah. And so she was like, I can work, I can go home. I'm just gonna sit in the car. I will be fine. I have my music and I have my lunch, like sandwiches.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I love the coworkers just like, ma'am, are you okay? You're like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
fine. I have my sandwiches. But she's finally at
I
least
think it's like
trying.
a silent uh breakdown.
Yes.
She's like,
And that's I love her character. She's something else.
I think we had
Actually,
a lot of character development in
yeah,
these two
I
episodes
would
of her.
love, I would actually love a spin-off of her story.
If
Like
she
what
doesn't die.
she was young when she was young, like
If
all
she
the
doesn't die.
yes, but no, we can actually have like a prequel, like before
Okay.
all of this. That would be interesting. Like all her adventures sound so interesting.
All her horny adventures in Russia.
Horny adventures.
Uh, uh,
I
what is
love it.
what I wanted to say? I wanted to say something. Oh, so basically, what else happens? I don't remember what happens to Eve in this anymore.
She's also like investigating,
Investigating
and
stuff.
the guys at the office say that it's kind of uh I guess was it like vain of her to think that nothing can be solved without her, and she's like Carolyn tries to approach her over Kenny's death,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
and she's like, I'm not gonna work with you. I will do
yeah,
this on
yeah,
my own. She's like,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna listen to you. I don't care about
Mm-hmm.
Carolyn tries to like bribe her with
Hmm.
information about 𝕊𝕁. She's like, I don't even want to know about her
I don't
anymore.
care. But
Yes,
she's immediately interested.
of course. So
And
she's
they talk about the murder of the Spanish woman with the
yeah.
guys from the magazine.
So there, Eve was trying to at some point, well, kind of. Eve was using Kenny's death to insert herself back into the situation.
Because it's
Just
easy.
like yes, like we know you needed like a justification to get back into it, like vengeance and whatnot. But okay, uh, okay, ma'am, sure, sure, Jen. And so what else happens? There's the
Um,
Constantine goes to visit Villanelle.
no, he
That's
goes first. He meets. He bumps
Geraldine.
into Geraldine on the street. Bumps. He planned
Yeah.
it, and she's so naive. He's like, I bought this magnet for my daughter, but if you wanted, have it. I'm like, who does this? Who needs a magnet?
I don't know.
It's a fucking magnet.
And
Anyway, he gives her a magnet, and we know that something is wrong with the magnet.
he's
Like,
bugged.
we just know.
Uh,
And then he goes to see Villanelle finally at her new house. And when she's first of all, she wears this atrocious dress with this atrocious cowboy boots. It's
yeah.
so fucking bad. I want the person who have chosen this outfit to be fired. Um, and she starts throwing things at him.
And kick him in the nuts.
Yeah, and she's like, "You've chosen your family over me," and I'm like, "Bitch, get over it. Get over it. Like, why do you
The-
think that you are more important to him than his family?" Like, I understand that she's narcissistic, and it's part of her like psychosis that she is narcissistic, but
Come on, yeah.
no self-awareness at all.
There's uh since I think season 2 or I think season 1, there was this Tumblr blog that was dedicated specifically to show off Villanelle's outfits on every episode.
Okay.
It's just like fashion. And
Okay.
they were suspiciously quiet during season 3.
Because
Suspiciously quiet.
they were correct. They were correct.
Yeah, they were like, okay, well, here it is. But it's just like, okay.
The era of fashion ended. I mean, there
I
are better outfits later,
yeah.
but these 2 episodes, a mess. A mess. Um, what else? What I wanted to say? Basically, what Constantine offers her is freelance, and that is where we ending the
Oh,
episode.
and he of course tells her that Eve is alive.
Oh yeah, yeah, forgot about that. That's the big hitter.
Yeah.
That's the big hitter that she's alive. I
He tries
think
to convince her that
I think she suspected in a way that she's alive, or maybe hoped that she's
yeah,
alive.
she was totally
There was
hoping.
never a
He
certainty.
killed her on like a tantrum. So she was definitely hoping she was alive. And
She's a professional killer, and she didn't check if he was
she
actually
would,
dead.
if she wanted her dead, she would have shot
Yeah,
her
she
in
would have
the head.
shot her in the head.
And so, okay. And also, Constantine was trying to convince her that Dasha is not on her side and that the 12 are up to something and that
Yada
he
yada
never
yada.
stopped working for them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That she needs to
that's it.
get into freelance and stuff with him. Um, the whole "I shoot you in somewhere where I know it's not deadly" eerily reminds us all about Hannibal. Like, both
Yeah.
are professionals, both know where to aim, both did the
Well,
same
there was
mistake.
that.
Both
Exactly.
did the same mistake of falling for someone they shouldn't have. So
Um,
the story is repeating itself.
yeah, people were like always making that parallel of
I
uh,
hope the
they
story is
don't
not going to
handle
repeat
breakups very
itself
well.
completely, and we're not going to get season 4 the repetition of Hannibal 3B. I don't need
Um,
another. I don't need a dragon. I don't need a fucking
to me, I just
murder.
have the feeling. I have the feeling that the 12 are going to be like the Red
The
Dragon Queen.
dragon. Yeah,
So
I also think so.
they're going to add them because the series is ending and they're supposed to be there.
I
They
mean,
were
they're
supposed to be the big
introducing
bad.
a new villain in season 3 later. She's weird. That lady is
Yeah,
weird. Diane, do this. You don't want to hear. I mean, we're not going to spoil. I'm just saying that
yeah.
there's going to be a new villain.
I didn't
You
even
probably figured it out.
remember.
You don't even remember?
Oh,
Oh,
just let's
that
just
lady. That
because
lady's like, this kind of like, it kind of like, I don't know what she wants from this relation. Do you want it to be sexual? Do you want to be my
it's
boss?
just weird.
Do you want to be my mother?
There is
Like,
a
it's
tension
very,
there. Yes, there's a tension there, but it's like we
it's
don't
very,
know
no,
what
you know what it
tension.
reminds me of? Not to be
But
pervert, but mommy little girl relationships,
oh yes, yes, yes,
you
yes, yes.
know? That kind of
I saw
thing.
stuff about that on Tumblr.
Like,
When
it's very that. It's very like, let me spoil you, like you're my little baby, like you're so good. Like you're my
it's just
good
that
girl.
sometimes it's done well. This is just kind of creepy.
I mean, that's the point, I think.
Yes, it's just a little unsettling, and
We're going to talk about her because I find her character very interesting, and I think she's going to like be explored more. Maybe I don't think she's like a passing character.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. Well, let's hope for the best, because I still have this season 3 for me is like kind of messy. Kind of like
Season
they just needed to
three,
progress the
they
plot.
they really I feel like they maybe thought that they're going to have more seasons, maybe
Maybe
because they could have gotten right into it, but they were like, no, let's waste some
waste
time.
time. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just like, I don't know. This I like scenes of this season, but not like
Same,
full episodes or
same.
full storyline.
There's certain episodes that I won't miss. Like I can never watch them again, and I won't miss them.
Yeah. And again, like if I can like pinpoint anything that got stuck in my brain rent free the first time I watched season 3 is the scene on the last episodes where they dance. That's it. I didn't say anything. Just that one scene. Just I think it was on the
I
trailer.
think
I remember.
the last episode, and like the whole Kenny thing, like that he died.
Yeah,
Um, okay, we're not going to spoil more.
but
We're
still,
not going
like
to do it.
Kenny, we won't. But Kenny's just. I felt like they just needed like an emotional twist, like
They
they did
needed
with
to
Bill.
develop characters. They needed to develop characters, and I feel like they were like, "How can we do this?" And his death kind of triggered a lot of people. Plus, he was a character they could get rid of and continue with the plot. Like if
Yeah,
they
he
would
was
have
a very
killed Constantine or Caroline, it would have been different. I'm
yeah
not sure it would have clicked or like they could have continued on.
yeah. So it was a character that could be like sacrificed, and
Yeah,
also one that was like very like a fan favorite of many. So
yeah,
it was well thought out too. Like it was a reasonable option, but still. Um, and that's it. That's all that happens on these 2 episodes. On
yeah.
episode 2, I literally have just like this much of notes. This is like nothing.
I only have half of the episode because I thought that I lost my notes. But I don't think that the second episode is very exciting, except from
No.
certain like highlights, like certain scenes in it. Kind of like, and the trend actually continues. Like I don't think that the third and the fourth episodes are exciting as well. I need to watch them because I don't
Yeah.
remember what happened, but I don't think they are very exciting either.
It's just that I think only the like last 3 episodes or
Later
something are
episodes,
interesting.
yeah.
So okay.
We're hyping it up so much for people, and they're like, "What the fuck are we watching? Why are we watching it then?"
Well,
Um,
anyway, if the episodes are not that interesting, you can still listen to us ramble about things
about
that are completely
non-episode
unrelated.
related stuff. Hmm.
Yes, there's always the excitement of what the fuck we're going to get into that is completely unrelated to the story, but it's still
Yeah,
interesting.
I think this time we spent like an hour talking about something else entirely.
Yeah.
So
Fun time.
I guess on this note, it's been 3 hours, 30 minutes. Like it's a lot. Um, on this note, we're finishing the stream and we're going to continue with episode 3 and 4 next weekends, but I don't really know which day exactly. I'm going to like announce it later and properly this time, not like last time, not like this time. Um, uh, so Sunday or Saturday, we don't know yet, but we're going to figure it out. Thanks to everyone that listened and was patient enough to watch this whole thing. Like it's a very long stream. I'm surprised. See you all next week.
Bye.